Right. Hello and welcome everybody. We are back. It is UKIT Season 6. I am Valkees Walker and I am joined by our newcaster of the day.
My name is Shmon, and I'm here also to join UKIT as a caster this time around. I'm honorary from the UK. I'm very much looking forward to seeing these players go head to head because I've seen a lot of Belgians play, and honestly, I want to switch it around. Let's see how the northern people do it here in Europe.
Yeah, some of the best players in Europe come out of UKIT, as we have seen, and as have the best casters. So I think we've got a series of exciting games lined up for us. We got 4 for week 3 coming.
Yep, exactly. For the 4, we have Combo Sandy versus Lord Voltaire. We have Devil Raid, versus Blue Luke. We have Richard Taylor versus Tad Hansen as well. And then we have Jack Marshall versus Jack Clark as well as our final match. So very much looking forward to seeing all of these matches unfold, really. And something exciting for the first match, going back in time. No more Paradox Pokemon, not that far in the past, but back to Sword and Shield, really.
Ooh, we're going back to Sword and Shield Season 2. That is incredibly exciting. There's a format I sat out of personally, so it's going to be exciting to have a look at what these Pokemon are capable of and what is going on. Of course, with it being Sword and Shield, we're saying goodbye to our crystal hats and instead to giant Pokemon ready to flatten their opposition with grandiose size.
Yeah, I enjoyed the format quite a bit. Then it was quite fun. The limited decks as well had some interesting takes there with the Pokemon to bring there, and I'm pretty sure I can feel me coming back to 5 years ago. Oh wow, it has been 5 years already. Yeah, it's.
Oh, I don't like that.
Oh my god! Suddenly, I regret seeing that. I feel the age going on. But
Yeah,
traveling back 5 years back to Dynamax, and honestly, it might not have been the most loved mechanic, but it is definitely interesting as you have to maintain a very good control of the board state as things can snowball quite fast out of hand. So I do think it is one of those more interesting metas where honestly it's quite skilled. I was terrible at Dynamax. I'm not even gonna lie. I was unga bunga big button, but you know, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, and most of the time it did not work for me.
Yeah, for sure. With those snowballing stats, it's like everybody having 3 turns of owning a Calyrex for any team going on forwards. So it could certainly lead to. Shall we hop on with our game and get into looking at these teams?
Yep, I do concur. So it is Combust Andy versus Lord Voltaire there. And we have to talk a bit about them as well, as Lord Voltaire is the one-time UKIT champion. He's a UKIT finalist, 2-time UKIT playoffs as well. Made the top 64 in 2013 in the UK Nationals with Dick Glacier. That is extraordinary to hear that.
That earns respect, and it's
first player in the world playing CP with Wooloo. Oh my god. Really good at accidentally counter teaming Jamie Keane. Well, that honestly, respect to them. Well played there.
Absolutely, and what we've got here for Combust Andy is Liverpool Regional Top 32 in 2016 and an Ireland
World Cup. Was member of
the Ireland World Cup. Fantastic.
In 2023, hey, that means 2024 is coming up, so it's time to play that as well. And looking at the teams, Combust Andy going with something that I think was quite devastating combo, which was Togekiss Dragapult, because you never really knew which one of these two would Dynamax. But a surprising visit from Snorlax again. Snorlax was really good in Sun and Moon, and people tried making work in Dynamax meta because, yeah, you get an increase in HP as well. But Snorlax itself, without the berries being able to belly drum, itself is a bit slower in that regard. But I'm looking forward to seeing it go off against Lord Voltaire with a bit more of a sand team, really.
Yeah, we're seeing some heavy focus on these ground and rock types with an Excadrill and a Tyranitar, the classic gotta go fast, gotta hit hard. We're seeing another Togekiss, another Dynamax friend. Gastrodon keeping many popular casters and players happy from before. Indeedee for that little bit of terrain control, and Rotom Heat. Rotom forms are something we've not seen recently, so it's nice to get the oven back on the battlefield.
Honestly, the appliances were missed here. Seeing them back here, it was quite good as well, because with its access to levitate and its typing not that bad either, can do fairly some good damage. It has support moves like Will-O-Wisp and such as well. And honestly, I just have to say it. That's the good Gastrodon Blue. I have to be biased. I'm sorry. Blue Gastrodon for me is the only Gastrodon really.
My pink Gastrodon says otherwise.
Disagree with that one in the background. So let's take a look at what these players are going to lead off with as well, because matchup wise, I do think it's fairly interesting to see what will happen here, as I feel like Triple Toolkiss is something that's just scary to go up against. You do have a few redirectors from Lord Voltaire being able to try and mitigate any sort of ghost Dynamax. I wanted to say terrestrialize, but Dynamax moves there, being able to redirect with the Indeedee there, and Psychic Terrain also helping with some of those priority moves, like for example an extreme speed onto the Arcanine there. And Trick Room control, you have control, making sure that you're potentially able to set up. Well, no, it doesn't get Trick Room in there. Oh my god,
This is old Sword and Shield. Trick Room.
I haven't fully traveled back in time.
But yeah, let's see what these players are going to lead off with as we head into this battle. Hitting the field first is a Tyranitar and a Gastrodon for Lord Voltaire, and for Andy we are having Arcanine and Snorlax. Snorlax. We can get vowels correct.
Immediate switch out there, and it's a Dragonite Tyranitar, always one of those scary Pokemon, and Yawn Gastrodon. This is a devastating combination, as now Curse coming out as well, making sure that this Snorlax, despite its setting up, has only really two options: or one, stay in, risk and then be put to sleep the next turn, or switch out. Other Pokemon can come in, and that Pokemon can be yawned as well. And with the Tyranitar being able to be a +1 right now, quite well, it's a quite strong Pokemon Tyranitar on its own. We have Arcanine to try and intimidate it, but now Tyranitar is already quite beefy. It is able to be a +1, definitely outspeeding the Pokemon on the field here. And then with Gastrodon trying to support it as well, might be a bit difficult to come back here for Combat Standy to find the opportunity to strike back, really.
It might be the case, but if any Pokemon's going to have the chance to do it, it's going to be Rotom. It can sit there with that Will-O-Wisp. It'll probably be able to take one hit from this neutral Tyranitar and get it burned, bringing its threat level up down just a touch. However, if that is the play that Andy's going to go for, we shall see very shortly. Going into this next turn, Arcanine returning back to the battlefield, intimidating the Tyranitar. However, going for a second Dragon Dance, neutralizing that, getting even faster. Skull coming out into Snorlax, not getting the burn, so it is going to go to sleep as it curses, though, to go even slower, be even bulkier, and hit even harder when it wakes up again.
Yep, exactly. Snorlax falling asleep, no Lumberry going to be able to save it. Most of the time, it's HP healing berries for Snorlax with its Gluttony ability. And all right, this Tyranitar has only rock polish till now, you know, it's fine. You've kept up the damage here in that regard. But now this Tyranitar is still the fastest thing. Does threaten the Arcanine with a rock type move as well. And we've seen Scald as well from this Gastrodon. If the Gastrodon accidentally would have burned the Snorlax, Snorlax would have not enjoyed the burn either, but at least it could have done something in the following turn, as it will have to take its first turn of sleep.
Yeah, Snorlax living up to its name and snoring on the job. However, I think we're about to roll on, and our players are locked in. We're getting another Dragon Dance coming out from Tyranitar. It is prepared to go very fast, but close combat out of Arcanine takes it down with a one-hit KO.
That is wow, that was devastating. So you just spent 3 turns dancing in the club, but unfortunately this Arcanine got hands right now, and being able to close combat into Tyranitar, one of those moves that Arcanine does manage to carry there. Perfect read in that regard. Tyranitar not going for the dynamics, not going for any offensive move onto the Arcanine, and just another Dragoness. Perfect, ample opportunity for that close combat. And now, what you worked hard for with that Tyranitar is suddenly gone. But the positive thing is, at least the Snorlax is asleep, and the Arcanine might fall asleep in the next turn as well.
Yeah, Arcanine might be sleepy. I think it might be switching out here with these double drops and the Drowsy. I think it will be quite brave to stay in, but losing all that momentum that you spent all those turns building up Dragon Dances, I think definitely puts Voltaire on the back foot right now.
Yeah, a little bit as Togekiss is coming in here. Togekiss is a perfect Pokemon to Dynamax as well, as it is going for the Air Slash here immediately onto the Snorlax. No critical hit, but we see the Figgy Berry as well. Scald onto the Rotom Wash. No burns, but still a bit of damage together combined with some Sand Chip as well. And now, well, Togekiss is still faster than the Snorlax, so at least that is the thing about Togekiss. You have two options. Or you can go for the flinch, or you can, well, this meta has developed the Crit Kiss, where with the Scope Lens, where it had increased chance of critical hitting, and that combined with Dynamax moves is a devastating combination. So really, up till now, we're not sure what it can be, as Snorlax takes another turn of sleep as well.
Yeah, Snorlax getting towards the turns where it'll be able to start waking up fairly reliably again. However, I think for Andy, that was a fairly safe turn all in all, like not actually taking that much incoming damage. The Figgy Berry healing up all of the damage on Snorlax, ready for it to hopefully, once it wakes up again, return some fire with some big hits. And I think one of the important things to know with the way the Snorlax is right now, while it feels slow, which doesn't feel great, could flinch itself, which might be quite sad, but it does get the chance to dodge the burn from the Gastrodon.
That's true. So when the Snorlax will wake up, this will hurt because +2 Snorlax, he's ready to throw. He's about to wake up from his nap, and that is suddenly a scary Pokemon to go up against. So let's see if this Snorlax is actually able to wake up this turn. It is a switch up from Togekiss into Excadrill. We have Nasty Plot coming out from the Rotom, setting up, making sure that it can do some damage as the Gastrodon does what it does best and just yawn again. And this is a position that's quite nice, I feel, to come back here for Lord Voltaire.
Yeah, absolutely. Putting this pressure onto the both the boosted Pokemon to keep them falling asleep again, meaning they want to switch and lose their boosts versus staying asleep. But if they're asleep, they're going to be taking this extra damage, just not being able to be retaliated against. Definitely puts a lot of pressure on it in a way that will be making Andy uncomfortable here.
Yep, and with Rotom most of the time having Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump not really working as long as this Gastrodon is on the field. But now this Snorlax has taken 3 turns of sleep, I believe, so it is about time to wake up. So let's see this Snorlax wake up. It is Arcanine switching back in. It is the Intimidate going off, and there we go. It is a big Snorlax. It is not the Gigantamax version, it's the regular version, I believe, as the Swords Dance is coming out onto the Excadrill. Not working on the sleep turn, no burn, as Max Strike doing massive amount of damage to this Gastrodon, but not KOing it just yet. And I completely forgot that Dynamax moves, when you use them, it will affect the partner Pokemon from your opponent or yours, or sometimes the field even, as Max Strike does lower the speed from this Excadrill as well.
Yeah, I think that speed drop on Excadrill here is going to be really clutch. Meaning that Arcanine goes from that will it, won't it speed, because we're still playing close team sheet back in these older formats where you don't quite know what's going on, you don't know quite what sets are. Obviously nowadays you still don't know what these speed changes are, but with a set you can kind of get a bit of an inkling of what this Pokemon's trying to do. But in close team sheet, we don't know at all. So with that speed drop, I think it's fairly safe bet for Arcanine to be able to outspeed, and while threatening close combat, once again might be able to take out another one of these sand buddies.
Yeah, it does seem like a likely scenario. Let's see what happens here. At least Gastrodon is able to survive and get some HP back with the Citrus Berry. We have Dynamax coming out from the Excadrill. Is Flare Blitz doing massive amount of damage, as it is the weakness policy as well.
Ooh, and Max weakness policy.
Being able to KO the Arcanine in return, and now Sand is back on, so that means the speed has increased, and with the recover, Gastrodon is able to survive. Max Darkness will take out the Excadrill, unfortunately, though.
Absolutely, that weakness policy there was quite the surprise, and setting up the sand with max rockfall for its own speed boosters as well, so it doesn't have to rely on Tyranitar, I think was a fantastic way to play it. Weakness policy was a surprise for me. I wasn't expecting to see that coming out, and it made it incredibly threatening. But fortunately, Flare Blitz did lots of damage. Excadrill, well, can be a bulky Pokemon. Usually in VGC, is run as fast as it can to hit, as hard as it can, which does unfortunately leave it quite vulnerable to taking a fair amount of damage in the process.
Yeah, exactly. And the double up was very smart there. The possibility was there for the Excadrill to protect in Dynamax form. As Sword Dance does change into Max Guard, I believe. So you do have that possibility. But honestly, I feel this position is still fine. We've seen the Gastrodon survive a Max Strike earlier and does completely wall the Rotom unless you're accounting for Will-O-Wisp there. So let's take a look at what Togekiss will fare to do here as well. As it is the last Pokemon, it is going to be a Protect coming out, making sure that it stays safe from this Thunderbolt. As now Snorlax is able to move once again after this yawn though. And Max Strike will lower the speed from both this Togekiss and this Gastrodon.
Yeah, big Snorlax is once again feeling drowsy, prepared to fall asleep if they do not wish to lose their boosts. The main other thing for people to note who maybe not be used to the Dynamax format is that Protect from a regular Pokemon will not fully protect you from these Dynamax moves. So as you've seen there, the Max Strike has gone through and it's dealt a quarter of the damage it would have done to a non-protecting Pokemon, but it still ensures that these speed drops are coming out onto Lord Voltair's side of the field.
Yep, exactly. Well, yeah, let's see what the speed interaction right now will be. Is Rotom able to KO this Togekiss from this range? Togekiss is fairly bulky Pokemon, and there goes the Dynamax on the Snorlax as well. As the next turn, it is a double protect trying to attempt to get there. Thunderbolt will take out the Togekiss, so it's only the Slug versus the world, as it is yawning on this Rotom, as well as the recycle from the Snorlax will make sure that it gets another Figgy Berry possibility there, as this Snorlax will take his first nap again. So honestly, Snorlax not really minding this. We've seen it just take his full 3 sleep turns, and he's just been on the field this entire time, as we have not seen the last Pokemon yet from Combustandi either.
No, we haven't. So, Snorlax falling asleep here. I think these are the little sort of ancillary turns. However, we see a forfeit coming out from Lord Voltaire from game 1.
Yeah, not really seeing a way to come back here. Completely fair. This was rather hard to come back here. So we have some information at the very least. We know that the Tyranitar has Dragon Dance, but that's it. And honestly, I feel if the Tyranitar was able to Rock Slide or Low Kick or Crunch even, it could do some damage still, even when intimidated. Like, it was staying at neutral at the very least there. But the Tyranitar would eventually win in that regard, because you have to keep switching out your Intimidator. But calling the right turn, that was such a game changer as well. And then the double up onto the Excadrill, I feel like that really twisted the game towards Combostandi's direction there.
For sure, I think those two were exactly the pivotal turns from that previous game. Going into game 2, what kind of switch ups are you hoping to see from either of these players? Are you wanting to see different Pokemon coming onto these fields, just different ways of playing, or do you think their leads were as perfect as they could be?
I do think personally we've seen the Gastrodon just survive anything, really. And at this point, I feel like Gastrodon can just stay on the field just as well as this Snorlax can, because it is a great support Pokemon, can help fairly well against Rotom and even against Arcanine with its skulls and such. And burning as well with the skull, it can sometimes mean the end for a Pokemon, well, especially physical Pokemon there, as there are quite a few of them. Of course, not being able to burn the Arcanine, but for example, Snorlax, even when it's set up with a burn, it's gonna do way less damage because it will have all those stats. In that regard, I do think if the Tyranitar is able to manage to get out a move, this Tyranitar will be able to put in some work as well.
Yeah, I think on my side, I'd quite like to see Andy bringing his own Excadrill to try and abuse Lord Voltaire's sand. Assuming it's the Sandrush variant, but I think that's a fairly safe estimate, especially when this Pokemon could set the sand up itself if it needs to. However, we don't know what its fourth Pokemon was. There is every chance that that was the case, but we will see what Pokemon these trainers are going to lead in our Game 2.
Yeah, let's take a look at Game 2. I do feel this is gonna be quite important here because the lead has to be superbly good there. So I want to see Lord Voltaire really try and adapt here to Andy, trying to make sure that the changes go through here and will be able to get him this win here.
Yeah, for sure. I think Gastrodon will be able to put in a lot of work if it hits the field, and I think leading it was a fantastic play. So let's rock and roll into Game 2 as players are going to hit the field with their leads. For Lord Voltaire, we're going to see Excadrill and Togekiss hitting the field, and for Andy, we're going to see the Arcanine and the Rotom Wash.
All right, so we do already know that this Arcanine does carry the close combat. We do know that this Excadrill has the Swords Dance as well, and we have the information that most of the time Togekiss does have Follow Me, so being able to redirect, for example, this close combat and then a Thunderbolt, it will go down, but it does give the Excadrill the opportunity to maybe set up a Swords Dance and then perhaps to switch in a Tyranitar.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the scariest ways this Excadrill can get itself set up and start pumping out plenty of damage in the subsequent turns, all for the sacrifice of one bird.
Yeah, exactly. So looking at this, I feel Lord Voltaire did a good adaptation here. So I want to see what the exact move will be. Will it be just Follow Me plus Swords Dance? Just set up that Excadrill, make sure that it is able to go. And how will Compost Andy answer here? I do feel a switch out from the Arcanine maybe to try and mitigate that damage could be very important here as well. So let's take a look at this turn 1.
Yeah, what's going to happen here? We're just going to see that Follow Me play as we spoke about here, and Flare Blitz is going to go in doing a good amount of damage. The burn is also going to take place, but it might not be the issue. Swords Dance coming out for Excadrill, boosting itself, and actually Nasty Plot coming out for Rotom, boosting itself up as well.
Okay, with this Nasty Plot up, you do threaten it as well, being able to Dynamax and go for that Hydro Cannon, Max Vortex. I'm trying to recall between Z moves and Dynamax moves, and it's quite hard, but it's a Max Water move possibly coming in. You don't have to check accuracy anymore in that regard, because we've seen the Flare Blades do at least 50% to this Togekiss, so we know that the Arcanine is the fastest thing on the field, then the Excadrill, and then the Rotom. So being in this position, kind of awkward. You can switch in, for example, the Tyranitar and kill the Arcanine, but then you have this Rotom to suddenly deal with as well. So I wonder how Lord Voltaire will adapt here to make the best optimal play here, because this does seem like a scary turn.
Yeah, he's got a lot of... He's in a position to, I think, either run away with the game in a single turn or throw quite a lot away here. So depending on how the moves he wants to choose as we go into the turn, we are going to see if he gets punished for this. We see a switch out from Togekiss into the Gastrodon, and the whoa! Excadrill getting big and in turn taking big damage, but managing to keep itself alive just with the Dynamax proccing the weakness policy on it, and Gastrodon's switch actually being a fantastic timing to catch that Hydro Pump, storm draining that damage away and boosting its own special attack.
Yeah, that was the perfect time to switch there. Honestly, seeing all that damage from this Arcanine, I think it is safe to say that this Arcanine might be choice banded. Just the sheer amount of damage that it has been doing here. And now with this Hydro Pump, you're kind of locking this Rotom in only Will-O-Wisp, if it even has that. As now with Storm Drain, you can't hit it with Thunderbolt, and you can't hit it with any kind of like Hydro Pump either. So this is suddenly really good for Lord Voltaire.
Rotom is definitely here being a bit of a sitting duck for this Gastrodon to yawn fodder its way through what it needs to do. However, for Andy, we're going to see him switch in his own Excadrill, ready to have a spider meme with the Excadrills and their pointy hands.
I might be lacking the sound on that regard from your side. Maybe I didn't
Rolling
hear it.
into this next
My
turn, we are
microphone
going
might
to
have
see
an
how
issue.
these players react to their
But
current
yeah,
board
now we
state
can see
with
what the next
one, a
turn will
big
bring.
boosted
It is
extra drill,
Compass
but on
Andy
low
here
HP.
being
And
able to bring out the Rotom or the Excadrill in that regard. I do feel like bringing out the Excadrill is interesting because if you're faster, you're able to kill at least the Excadrill first. But as long as his Gastrodon is on the field, I don't really know what this Rotom is going to be able
technical
to do, really.
difficulties are currently ensuing. We will be resolving this issue shortly.
Well, we are... I don't know if it's me. Is it me? Excuse me for the delay, people. We are checking if we can do anything about this. Opening and closing my Discord. Just a second.
Righto. So, for those, we're having the classic UKITT technical difficulties.
I think my Discord crashed.
We will be handling these shortly. So if we're deadpan staring, I apologize in advance.
Okay, I can hear you now since I turned you on the Video Ninja. I don't know if you turned me on.
Right, let's try that.
My Discord seems to be completely crashed.
As is technical difficulties, however, we're back on through the video, so I think we might be ready to rock and roll again.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
Crack on. Wait.
We can't crack on. I think my Discord is still down, but like, let's see. Oh, okay. So I do think this switch to Excadrill is interesting because if the Excadrill is faster, it is able to get the kill onto the opposing Dynamax Excadrill. But
yeah,
I don't really see this Rotom doing anything right now.
Yeah, Rotom is definitely a bit of a sitting duck here, but I think the main reason to keep it on the field is to stop the Gastrodon wanting to swap out into Tyranitar, and potentially it might set up both of their speed boost, and it might not make a difference. But getting that sand up, I think it's keeping Gastrodon on the field, which in its own right is a good pin. It just means Rotom is feeling a little bit sad from time to time.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what this next turn will bring.
So
it's going to be Dynamax from the Excadrill as well. It's going for the Max Guard, actually. Maybe not trusting that it is faster. 2 Max Guards from the Excadrills. Hydro Pump just into that Gastrodon. Trying to see if the Tyranitar could possibly switch in. But no switch in. But that does mean this Gastrodon is now a +2 special attack. And getting quite scary because we've seen it take quite a good physical hit from Max Strike for Snorlax. And now it has the special defense of a god.
Yeah, absolutely. It is getting particularly thick as this slug. However, that turn was 2 moles putting shields up and 2 various Pokemon of descriptions pouring some water into no effect.
Yeah.
Flying into this next turn, we're getting another Max Guard.
Max Quake which is not working.
Yeah, Max Quake failing on there. Storm Drain once again absorbing another Hydro Pump though, and a Scald coming out into the big Excadrill on Combust Andy's side over at 2.5 times its special attack, being at +3. That is going to do plenty of damage. Excadrill staying alive from that Scald, I think, is a big surprise for all of us.
Yeah, being able to survive this. Gastrodon is most of the time a bit bulky, just being able to sit there, but still. That much. If you have that many boosts, I do expect this Gastrodon to do some more damage. But this Excadrill showcasing, maybe it is a bit slower made as it did go for the Max Guard immediately as well. So not trusting which one of these two will speed die here. But Dynamax is gonna run out for Lord Voltaire, I believe, and that means Commas Andy must now decide like, is this now my time to actually damage this Gastrodon, because this Gastrodon is just sitting there menacingly.
Very menacingly indeed. It is now with its big boost. It's ready to hit things quite hard, as well as take some hits, recover up, put some things to sleep. We still haven't seen the interaction, I don't think, between both the moles on the speed. However, if I remember rightly, does double max guard work like double protect before? Was this
it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So getting a second like double protect in Dynamax is a brave play to be making. Clearly, it's currently paying off for what it's at.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what this turn will finally bring. Will we finally know what Excadrill is faster? Is a switch out to Snorlax from the Rotom Wash as max steel spike. So we do see that Combo Standy's Excadrill might be faster. It might be a speed type. This is the first that we've seen as the recovery is coming out from Gastrodon. But thanks to max steel spike, raising the defense of both of these Pokemon as well.
Yeah, Snorlax is going to, well, I was going to say love that, however, he's got two special attackers staring him down, so he's not loving it quite as much as he might have been before. Excadrill sitting on low health, so defense boost might not be able to pull it through here. Saying that, though, Togekiss not looking terribly healthy with its burn going on. It's not going to be sitting around on the field for too much longer. I think the main threat to anything on Andy's side of the field right now is that Sea Slug.
Yeah, it's just, it has that much special attack boost. It got a special defense boost. Not really working for it right now, but we do know that the Rotom is in the back, and Rotom can't really touch it. So let's see how Combo Sandy is able to deal with this potential threat of the end game here. The Slug has to go down.
Yeah, this Slug needs to drop. However, ending up this turn, Excadrill is going to return to being small. It's just going to protect, keeping itself on the field one more turn. We're also going to see Togekiss protecting there. Scald coming into Snorlax, doing good damage and fishing up that burn, reducing the amount of threat that Snorlax is capable of going for a Curse, getting an extra defense boost, dropping itself a bit slower, but getting the attack boost to attempt to start mitigating this burn.
That was such a good burn as well, and it did massive amount of damage. Let's take this blue Gastrodon got hands. Really, right now, it has been helped by Rotom for quite a bit, but the double protect is interesting because, of course, Togekiss wanted to stay safe from this Excadrill, which tends to be faster, and Excadrill wants to make sure that if this Togekiss is protected, the Gastrodon couldn't scald it. They're correctly reading into that. That Lord Voltaire just went for the Scald into the Snorlax, punishing it if it wanted to go for a Curse, and that is exactly what happened.
Yeah, definitely. We did also see that Excadrill's Protect went first, so it is still constantly threatening pressure onto this Excadrill, onto the Togekiss, and with it potentially, well, from the Steel Spike, we assume it's carrying Ironhead, which means I don't think that Tyranitar, which I personally suspect is in the back for Lord Voltaire, wants to be hitting the field under one of those conditions.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what this next turn will bring. You've done a double protect once. Do it twice. It is Babiri Berry. So we know that this Togekiss is now Babiri Berries, being able to survive Air Slash into the Snorlax, proccing its berry. Snorlax taking a bit of a snack time here. Scald into the Excadrill will take it out. And let's take a look at the flinch on the Snorlax, meaning this Togekiss will stay on for at least one more turn. And as Rotom Wash can't do anything to this Gastrodon right now. So this is looking fairly good. Honestly, I don't see a good way of Andy here to bring it back here.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be Snorlax versus the world, and that world is slug-shaped. But we will see if it will be capable of putting in any damages. Some healthy crits can always get you through any situation, and given some of the unfortunate luck that has befallen Andy this game, through those flinches, through those burns coming through, crits sometimes feels a little bit, can feel justified in a place, but we'll see if that actually is what occurs going into the final, probably the final few turns of this game. Rotom's going to protect, keeping itself healthy. Air Slash is going to hit into Snorlax, fishing for another flinch so it can burn itself away. Yawn bounces off the protect, and Facade, meaning that burn is nowhere near as effective as it thought it, putting huge damage into the Gastrodon. It appears that slug-shaped world might be coming flat very soon.
Yeah, the unfortunate issue is with that curse, Snorlax is definitely going to be slower than this Gastrodon, and we already know that this Rotom can't hit this Gastrodon right now. So, looking at the few options there still are for Andy, I'm not really seeing a good way of bringing it back. Pain split Rotom with Snorlax. Give the Snorlax HP back somehow. that is the line. I see it. Facade is such a good bring though.
Definitely. Yeah, Facade's fantastic. It's taken this situation from a to a quite specifically. And Snorlax here sat at +2 defense. So we think this is going to be quite threatened from double into by the Tyranitar and the Gastrodon. Snorlax is thick. Snorlax has got +2 defense. If it manages to pull through here and get another Facade down into this Gastrodon, I think we've seen this from quite a scary position into a Snorlax comeback.
Yeah, the potential is there. So let's take a look at what this turn will bring, what these players have decided here. Honestly, I want to see what this Snorlax has in store. It is Protect from the Gastrodon, so a recycle is possible. Thunderbolt into the Tyranitar, doing a bit of damage as this Tyranitar is just Dragon Dancing. That means now Snorlax is able to recycle.
And it's the recycle getting up. Getting that health is nice and healthy once again, ready to absorb some more hits. Even though the Tyranitar did manage to get a Dragon Dance in for its troubles, it took a little bit of damage for that effort to go for it, but is now the fastest thing on the field.
Yep. So honestly, we can finally maybe see Tyranitar do something, as we have not seen it do a lot except for dance. So let's take a look at what this Tyranitar might have in store for us, because I feel it is just sliding away, well, rock sliding in coming into this game right now. And if you're slower than a Tyranitar with rock slide, you're not gonna have a good time.
The ancient VGC proverb of where there's a rock slide, there's a way. That does good damage to Rotom, but healing itself up with its Citrus Berry. It is going for a Nasty Plot, going to get itself boosted, which is potentially really scary. The Gastrodon going to recover, keeping itself up, and the rock slide pulls through, flinching into Snorlax.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to commentator's curse in that regard, my bad, but yeah, as if there's a Tyranitar, you have to fear the rock slide. Unfortunately, it is one of those moves that is just so good at times, and you have to rely on. But this feels like a bit of bullying, as the Snorlax has flinched twice this game already, is burned and not having a good time in this sandstorm.
Yeah, it's definitely slowly chipping itself away here, and I reckon Snorlax might be going down this turn, so it comes down to Rotom being able to put out that damage, but if the Gastrodon is sticking around on the field, it might struggle a little bit.
Yeah, let's take a look at what this possibly final turn will bring. Crunch not KOing the Snorlax just yet, hanging on. Thunderbolt doing a bit more onto the Tyranitar, but Tyranitar still hanging on, and Scald into Snorlax will mean the end of Snorlax. And now there's only Rotom with Nasty Plot. We've seen Nasty Plot, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Pump. We haven't seen the fourth move yet.
We haven't. We've seen Protect a little earlier.
Oh yeah, we did. So we already know that this is probably
the dreams of Pain Splitter down.
Yeah,
I think this is probably a Gastrodon lockout, and we see a forfeit as we get ready for one win either side to go into Game 3.
Okay, so we both know like what the kind of adaptations is that these players are willing to make here. That maybe the adaptation that they have to go like locking Rotom with Gastrodon in one room. Perfect. That's what you want. That's what Lord Voltaire wants. But for Andy itself, like getting rid of Gastrodon, being able to dish out so much damage with the Arcanine as well. We've seen that Flare Blitz barely misses out on the KO on the Excadrill. It is faster than the Excadrill without sand, of course. So the Arcanine still being able to provide a lot of utilities here, but I feel like this Rotom is kind of weird to use. It's good against Excadrill. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's just not really being able to perform as well as you would expect it to, thanks to just one little blue sea slug.
Yeah, this Gastrodon really does put the pin on it, but I can understand why Andy keeps bringing it, because that between Hydro Pump and Thunderbolt, you hit 4 out of 6 of Voltaire's Pokemon for super effective, and as we've seen, that super effective damage is also really big damage even against the neutral targets. So I can absolutely see why it keeps coming to the field. However, Lord Voltaire is piloting that Gastrodon wonderfully to keep it negated.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to what the adaptations will be. I just want to see the Dragapult. It's been so long for me. I haven't seen Dynamics in a while. Dragapult Togekiss, it's been ages. Let me see it. Let me see the boy get big, or let me see Togekiss get big. I've got nostalgia speaking about it, but I'm right here in the game. So honestly, I just want to see it happen on Andy's side. I feel, well, Lord Voltaire did quite perfectly there, having the Gastrodon in the back with the extra drill, dealing enough damage to everything, making sure that the Arcanine is gone as fast as possible as well. So, well adapted, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And these players are about ready to hit the field with their leading Pokemon once again. We are ready to rock and roll. Coming out on the side of Lord Voltaire is the Excadrill and the Togekiss, once again proving if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And for Andy, we are getting Snorlax and Arcanine.
Okay, so already an Intimidate is really good to have onto this Excadrill. We have seen Flare Blitz do only 50% to this Togekiss, so it is quite a bulky Togekiss here with Follow Me. But now with the adaptation being Rotom not being on the field, not being able to Nasty Plot, but now Snorlax is able to set up, which is quite nice because it is able to threaten quite a bit as well. Because it had Max Darkness and Facade, so it has a Dark type move. And Curse, and I don't remember if it had Protect or not, but
it's recycling that fourth slot.
Recycle, that's it. That's the fourth slot. So if this Snorlax is able to get going as well, even when this Togekiss will follow me, or even this Excadrill will start Sword Dancing, you still have the scary Snorlax to deal with.
Yeah, I think it's definitely potentially terrifying. I'm expecting to see a Curse off at this turn because it's got a fairly free little bit of setup, but we will see as we hit this field what it chooses to go for going into this first turn. Arcanine is just going to leave the field straight away, bringing Togekiss back in to replace it. Swords Dance coming out for the Excadrill, getting ready to boost some damage in. Air Slash hitting Snorlax. Snorlax not flinching this time, ready to Curse in its name, sitting there gaining some boost, slowing itself down.
That was a really big risky play that did work out there for Lord Voltaire, because if that Arcanine just went for the Flare Blitz into that Excadrill slot, that would have been bye-bye Excamole. Then that means that the Togekiss itself is able to just follow me, well, just go for an attack there. But this worked out perfectly. You have now an Excadrill +1. Again, you didn't use any sort of follow me, and you had the potential to flinch the Snorlax as well. So looking at the possible things that could have happened, this does seem like quite a good turn for Lord Voltaire.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better turns you could go for here. I think, however, there is a potential for multiple flinch chances coming out. We are actually going to see a Follow Me and another Swords Dance. Excadrill trying to make itself the scariest thing possible. Togekiss showing Yawn. We now have two Pokemon with Yawn in this game. And Snorlax once again cursing, making itself bigger, stronger, and slower.
Yeah, unlike the Daft Punk song, bigger, stronger, slower. Not really. But it does have the possibility to at least do quite a bit of damage. It is being able to be quite bulky as well. This Excadrill suddenly really scary. Even if you switch in the Arcanine, this will be still a +2 Excadrill. Togekiss has to decide on Lord Voltaire's side if it's going to be able to stay in or switching out to something else. We've seen 3 Pokemon on Andy's side. I do believe if it is the Rotom, it is able to, of course, be able to resist 2 stabs from this Excadrill. And the Snorlax is able to hang on as well, thanks to its bulk right now that it has. So let's take a look at what this following turn will bring.
I think Togekiss is leaving the field, but it's not the Togekiss I expected. Arcanine has come in, intimidated, bring it only down to +2. However, Max Steel Spike coming in, taking huge damage out of this Arcanine, but with that resist, managing to cling on. Defense boosts going up for that. Another Yawn coming out from another Togekiss as Darkest Lariat flies in on to the Excadrill, not doing as much damage as I was expecting.
Yeah, only a +2 with the Dynamax boost. You do get with the Dynamax health increase, you do get a rather bulky Pokemon. Excadrill has very decent stats, and Snorlax, well, most of the time you're built quite bulky, so Curse takes a long time to really set up. But this is really good because this Togekiss will fall asleep right now. This is enough damage for this Arcanine Flare Blitz to kill this Excadrill that we have seen, or potentially even close combat. It is not stab, so I'm not sure if close combat will KO because, oh no, it got the defense boost as well. So you will have to go for the Flare Blitz most likely in that regard, as long as Tyranitar is not in the back, because Tyranitar then raises the speed of the Excadrill, and Excadrill can kind of try to run away with the game in that regard.
Yeah, if any one Pokemon will be capable of doing it in this game from this position, it will be that Excadrill. Snorlax is nice and thick, but is about to fall asleep.
Yeah, so let's see if Togekiss is falling asleep. So let's see if we have any switches. It is Arcanine for the Excadrill actually. So the Togekiss is just gonna stay and take eternal sleep. Max Steel Spike into the Snorlax, raising its defense yet again. This Snorlax eating its berry, very nice, as now it is able to curse yet again, trying to stay relevant at least, and trying to make sure that it is able to get through these 3 sleep turns as well. With Excadrill onto the field from Handy as well, we know that this Excadrill is faster, or what we believe is fast, because of course speed ties is a possibility in this realm. So honestly, good switch there. Defense raises on both Togekiss is kind of dangerous in that regard, but I'm looking forward to see what happens next time, because I do think this is it's just very scary. That's the thing with Dynamax. You're walking on a tightrope, and at any moment you can fall off. And right now, this Excadrill is making me fall. Making Andy fall off this tightrope right now.
Yeah, it's definitely ready to pump some of that bigger damage in. Snorlax made itself nice and bulky, but is again about to fall asleep, along with showing what it did before. It might be able to eat some hits, but how many hits can it eat while it is snoozing?
Yeah, so let's take a look here. It is, of course, falling asleep there. And now another switch. The Excadrill coming out for the Togekiss. So maybe expecting a max ground onto this Excadrill. It is a max Quake, not working on the Togekiss. No extra boost onto this Excadrill. And the Togekiss is also still staying asleep together with the Snorlax, taking his first turn of sleep. So now this Excadrill will turn teeny mole, as the Togekiss, okay, it's on the field. And that's nice. You can follow me, redirect. The issue is this is still an extra +2/+2, which is fairly scary to have.
Yeah, it's definitely capable of hitting hard there. However, for Andy, if he had to try and defuse the final turn of Dynamax, that was the way to do it, ensuring nothing came out. There was no extra boosts given, and he burns a turn of sleep on Snorlax as well. That's his mandatory turn. Snorlax can start waking up anytime from now, but we've seen it's got a history of being a bit sleepy.
Yeah, so hopefully beating the allegations there. Togekiss protecting here, trying to stay safe as the Togekiss on the opposing side still sleeping, as another source is coming out. So let's waking up right now. Dark Slide into that Excadrill, but not taking the KO just yet. So we're back at an impasse here, as the possibilities are follow me with the Togekiss, making sure that the Excadrill can only KO the Togekiss in that regard. Snorlax is able to maybe potentially KO the other Togekiss or the Excadrill. But yeah, the Togekiss has taken 3 turns of sleep, while the Snorlax only needed 1. Honestly, just saying, if you are trained in sleeping, you might wake up sooner as well. So
Snorlax's Pokemon sleep stats suffering tonight. We are, however, going to see what happens. I'm expecting to see a couple more, like a pair of Follow Me's coming out. We're actually just going to see a big old Rock Slide coming in from
the Rock Slide. We forgot. Yeah, it's Max Rockfall, of course. As now this Ash is going to hit the Snorlax. Is it going to flinch though? It is not flinching. Recycle, back up that health. It is ready to deal some damage in the next turn, as now Excadrill from Andy's side is coming out. Does it carry a spread move to potentially hit this Excadrill? Well, Rock Slide is not very effective, but hey, flinches are there. Flinches are right there. Oh wait, no,
there's a Rock Slide. There is a way.
Well, I don't remember all the moves, so possibility is still there here. This Snorlax is actually hanging on quite well.
Yeah, Snorlax is definitely sitting nice and healthy, and it has a recycle, getting itself its Figgy Berry, bringing its health back up, able to take a few more hits. And we are ready to roll with some more Pokemon about to beat each other up. Follow Me coming in from Togekiss there. Immune to the Excadrill's Earthquake. However, that is the Excadrill that I was not expecting to see press Earthquake, taking down the one from Lord Voltaire. Meanwhile, Recycle once again onto the Snorlax, making itself gain another berry, getting ready to eat it, and it is so close. You can see how close he is. He's hungry. He's waiting for that tiny bit of damage to give him that excuse.
He's slept so long for all these games. It's time for him to deal some damage. With now being able to just facade on either of these Pokemon. And we have the Dynamax from the Excadrill trying to raise more defenses potentially here. As the Togekiss is protecting itself. Max Steel Spike in Togekiss and Babiri Berry. Not going to do all that much. Wow, that's really tiny damage. But with another defense raise, Scald coming out onto this Excadrill. No burn, luckily. As a facade will deal massive amount of damage to this Gastrodon as it is heating its berry as well.
Yeah, everything on this field keeping nice and healthy, things being nice and bulky. These games starting to run a lot longer than we've been seeing in the Scarlet and Violet era of Pokemon, which just shows you how much the tiniest change, or even quite large changes in the case of Dynamax, to a game mechanic can increase and decrease the pace of every single match.
Yep, so let's take a look at what this next turn will bring. It is Follow Me from the Togekiss coming out, making sure that his Max Steel Spike is going into it. Still hanging on quite well thanks to those defense boosts as another Scald into this Excadrill. Is it going to be enough? It's not, but it is not going to be enough. No burn either as Facade coming out onto the Togekiss. This Togekiss is just really hanging on and really enjoying these boosts that it got.
Yeah, those defense boosts absolutely coming in clutch there to keep this Togekiss alive. Having eaten one Steel Spike, admittedly behind a Protect with the berry, yeah, we didn't expect that to do much. However, taking a second Steel Spike and a Facade from a +3 Snorlax shows this thing is bulky.
Yep. So what is the next turn gonna be? It is Follow Me into Max Quake, so that not working this time around. Well done there in that regard. As Skull will take out the Excadrill, but now Snorlax is able to deal damage, and this Togekiss will finally go down as well. No more boost on that end, but now this Choice Banded Arcanine is switching in, and a new bring. We have Rotom Heat this time around.
Yeah, Rotom Heat is definitely an interesting pickup here. Potentially with Will-O-Wisp threat and being a special attacker, joining the Gastrodon is probably its best place to start pumping damage into the Snorlax. Snorlax's special defense, if I remember right, is already quite high. Its physical defense does suffer a little bit as a trade-off. However, with 3.5 times on its +5 defenses,
yeah,
I think this thing is going to be taking hits quite comfortably, and it's got its fresh berry, so whatever hits it, it's going to be healing that back off again. I think we're down to see here how much damage Arcanine can put down before it drops.
Yeah, let's take a look. This Choice Banded Arcanine, I believe, has a Protect coming out from this Rotom, so it is only the Gastrodon being able to take hits. Is close combat into it. That means this Gastrodon is still able to move. Do you move? It is Scald into it as well, and that means Arcanine is down. It is Snorlax alone. It is going for the Facade onto the Rotom Heat, but unfortunately Rotom did Protect, so now it is a Toaster and a Slug versus a big round man.
Absolutely, and can the big round man do it? I would expect there's two ways that Lord Voltaire can go about this. He can go for the we're just going to hit it with special attacks, ignoring those defense boosts, and trying it best to try and get the KO in this turn. Or we yawn.
Yawn is honestly not a bad play either, making sure that Snorlax is not able to move. But this Snorlax has to choose a target right now. We already have seen the Rotom Protect, but is a Facade enough to kill this Rotom, even at that much of a boost? Is Discharge coming out? Snorlax is paralyzed. With the berry, is Facade gonna be able to just take everything out onto the field? Is recover from the Gastrodon? Now this Facade is boosted, and that will be a KO onto the Rotom, and now you can put this thing to sleep. So now this Gastrodon really has to work very hard and hoping that this Snorlax is unable to move thanks to Paralyze. This is still possible for either side. This is actually kind of crazy.
Yes, it's definitely coming down to the wire. My money's on Snorlax 75% of the time.
As recover just coming out, and this Snorlax is able to move. It is the Facade, and that is just obliteration. It is just ready. This big round man just did it all. He carried it out. Andy really relying on this Snorlax. And honestly, Snorlax not a Pokemon that I saw all that much in the early meta from Dynamax. Still working out quite well in this regard. Like adapted well with the curse set, being able to just damage everything and anything around, and just Facade really pulled through, especially thanks to that Paralyze onto the Rotom Heat. So that was quite well played there.
Yeah, for sure. And that was an absolutely fantastic set by both players. Both players finding opportunities to get set up, and in all three games, there was multiple situations where both of us, I'm pretty sure, were sat there going, "Oh, that's it. That's game over. This thing's so boosted that something lived, something got burned,
Yeah.
everything went like everywhere," and it was absolutely all wonderful to watch.
Close team sheet is a riot, honestly.
Yeah, it certainly keeps things exciting. However, with that win, Combust Andy does tie up a win for the Postwick Patacakes, bringing the final score for their set to 2 wins for the Postwick Patacakes and 3 wins for JV Keen's Fighting Champions, meaning that they are going to be taking home a victory in the team round.
Well done there in that regard. Honestly, that was an exciting match. I'm surprised to be brought back to Dynamics and me really enjoying that match. The lot of yawns, being able to try and stay in control of your field, and honestly, I kind of miss Togekiss. I just realized like Togekiss is. Do I miss Togekiss? It's a really good mon, actually.
Yeah, it definitely sort of changes the pace of the game. Because Togekiss is, if I remember rightly, is it in the Scarlet Violet decks? I have not seen it in play. I can't even remember.
Unfortunately,
if it's in the decks
not.
Or not.
It would have been quite good if it was.
Yeah, especially being able to, I would say, drop that fairy type. I think most of the time it will be dropping its flying type for a lot of defensive situations. Definitely keeping things interesting. But speaking of Scarlet and Violet, I think our next game is up and ready to roll. We are back in Regulation G. We are in current standard VGC with some, I was going to say current standard VGC teams. However, there's a couple of interesting Pokemon on that I can see in team preview.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cresselia in quite a while. We have Dave Rate versus David Edmonds. David Edmonds versus Luke Fay. All right, I'm very sorry if I butcher your name. I do apologize. They're playing each other, and honestly, I'm already excited because I love Zamazenta. It's just a big dog, and Big Dog got Cresselia next to it, and I haven't seen Cresselia be used all that much in this meta, so I want to see how it will be fair, because I do think it is interesting to keep like Zamazenta healthy as well, with potential healing it gives, and as well for Galarian Moltres, because if Galarian Moltres Berserk ability, it goes below 50%, it does get a boost to its special attack, so you can trigger that twice at the very least, so that is also a nice addition to it.
Yeah, it definitely makes it quite interesting there. And what I think is most interesting about this Galarian Zapdos is it is staring down a Calyrex Shadow Rider, a Pokemon notorious for hating Dark-type Pokemon with a furious passion. Other stuff on Davey Wright's team is we've got the Rillaboom, the Incineroar, the Urshifu of currently unspecified belt, the Tornadus, and the Clefairy. Plenty of nice, bulky, fake-out rotating and support Pokemon. All of these to enable this Calyrex Shadow Rider to carry them through the game.
Yeah, that is, of course, one of those things that Calyrex likes to see. Pokemon being able to really support it quite nicely, being able to redirect, being able to stop the threats, really. Like, for example, the Galarian Moltres, it is able to hit this Calyrex for 4 times effective moves, or even this Chimpao, and being able to be faked out or even potentially redirected is nice. And then you have another addition of the possible Terra as well that you do manage to get as well for these kind of teams.
Yes, we have put away our giant Pokemon and got back our crystal hats, and I think we're ready for these crystal hats to be put on in our games. Opening up, players are going to be hitting the field. Davey Wright is going to lead out with Incineroar and Calyrex Shadow, whereas Glowluke is going to be hitting the field with Moltres and Zamazenta. We've got a dog-bird cat horse. Let's do this.
the old classic dog-bird cat horse, yes. A tale as old as time. With Zamazenta, of course, not really minding this attack drop. It is something that we do have to keep track of, because, of course, if you want to be able to it's Behemoth Bash. It's not Heavy Slam. Zamazenta is Behemoth Bash this time around. So relying on its attack stat a bit more, especially if this Calyrex is gonna go for a Terra to hit it super effectively. Incineroar is able to help with support for Fake Out at the very least onto this Moltres, making sure that it is not able to hit this Calyrex right now, as this Calyrex is just feels kind of free to do whatever it wants. It can go with the Astral Barrage, but if you do, you have to fear the dog yet again, because White Guard is one of those perfect moves to help as just Cataract's Shadow is one of those Pokemon that likes to have support Pokemon around it. Zamazenta is truly a leader, a friend, and he's also there to support as well.
Yeah, a little bit of everything coming out for either Pokemon. We're going to see the Terrestrializing straight away, Calyrex putting the Fairy type on, Protect coming out for Zamazenta, they're keeping itself nice and safe. Fake Out going into Zamazenta, bouncing off that Fake Out. Nasty Plot coming out for Calyrex. However, is this a risk for Moltres to get to do something for free? It is going to set up the Tailwind, making the dog faster than it already is.
Yep, and now with this Tailwind, that does mean that Zamazenta is able to go onto the offensive on this Calyrex, but that is the scary part with Calyrex now. You already have used your Terra, so Behemoth Bash will be super effectively, but Calyrex can at all times just decide, you know what, no, I'll protect, I'll switch another Pokemon in, like for example Clefairy, and I'll just redirect any attacks that you want to do to me. So this is quite an important turn to decide for Luke to decide here what is the possible option coming out of here. Is it just Protect plus Parting Shot? Is it just is he just gonna attack anyway? These are like annoying plays that you sometimes have to do around Calyrex, but I'm sure that Luke can bring this to a successful end, as I do think just focusing on what is next to the Calyrex might be more important in this turn. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of threat. Zamazenta obviously putting a threat into this Calyrex. Calyrex can always keep itself alive. Incineroar can even either, I know Incineroars traditionally carry Will-O-Wisp, are now carrying Will-O-Wisp or Flare Blitz. I'm not sure which one this one's currently carrying. I don't have the sheet in front of me. But either way, there is a chance for Zamazenta to receive a burn and be neutralized. But I think Davey is definitely going to be on the defensive on this turn, given he is at the speed disadvantage.
Yep, this Incineroar is knockoff, as we have the Clefairy coming in. Exactly as I said, it's Fire from the Moltres coming in and a Protect from the Calyrex itself. So is this just a double up? It is Body Press into the Clefairy, trying to make sure that this Incineroar stays gone, and an Air Slash. So well adapted in that regard, trying to make sure that this Clefairy at least has some damage done already. So now you have the possibility of just doing this yet again. With the Zamazenta this time going for Behemoth Bash, potentially killing the Clefairy, and then Moltres is still able to go for at least some damage onto the Calyrex. Fire, very interesting because you're able to resist any sort of Draining Kiss. The unfortunate downside is now Astral Barrage is a move that you definitely want to click if you are predicting this Zamazenta to not White Guard.
Yeah, Zamazenta is kind of pinned here. However, he's going to go for that Wide Guard. It is going to be keeping its teammates safe. Air Slash come out and critting onto this Clefairy, being able to drop it to the battlefield. But Draining Kiss coming down and connecting with Zamazenta, doing a good chunk of damage at +2 onto what is a notoriously bulky Pokemon.
Yep, and that does mean that King Incineroar can come back in, intimidate this Zamazenta again. Behemoth Bash doing less and less damage with each Intimidate coming in. Draining Kiss doing decent amount of damage to Zamazenta for being neutral and a defensive Pokemon. But now with Fake Out, is this Calyrex just able to try and run away with this game again? Because you can Fake Out into the White Guard, and yeah, that makes it a bit scary, doesn't it?
If I remember rightly, Wide Guard is also at +3 priority, so Zamazenta could still Wide Guard while being under Tailwind ahead of this Incineroar's Fake Out. So there's a little bit of speed and mechanic knowledge coming out here, which may determine how the game plays, but then you've also got that classic, do I just protect in the face of Fake Out? Do I call these shenanigans? There is always the Wide Guard, Astral Barrage, coin toss. So we will see where these Pokemon and trainers end up going for, as Fake Out is going to come out into Zamazenta. Zamazenta is not going to be able to move with whatever it was going to go for. Moltres is going to get to Air Slash into Calyrex. Is this Calyrex going to flinch? It is not. Is Astral Barraging. It is going to be putting massive damage down, finishing off Zamazenta from that 60-odd% that it was on. Moltres getting dropped well below half health, but triggering its Berserk.
Yeah, Berserk is active now. There's no more Tailwind, unfortunately. So another Acid Barrage will put this Moltres, unfortunately, on the ground, as Moltres not being able to flinch, unfortunately, because his Calyrex is the illustrious Cover Cloak. An item that has been well introduced, but it is always one of those items that's like so good on Calyrex because just not being affected by any secondary effects, making sure that I'm boosted. I don't care if you attack me and then you para me. That's not gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. That's just what Calyrex is deciding to say here. And with Raging Bolt on the field, you are able to at least Thunderclap, but how much is this really gonna do to a Calyrex?
2 thunderclaps might be enough to do it, but whether you can afford to take a +3 boosted Outer Barrage for your troubles is definitely going to be a interesting thing here. And I think the Covert Click is an interesting choice coming out of Calyrex's nowadays. As obviously traditionally it's been a fake out dodger. However, with the Calyrex being a ghost type, you wouldn't I think the initial suspect for playing with the Covert Cloak on it would be it's ghost. It doesn't need the fake out dodge. However, there are, as we're seeing here, plenty more reasons to have it on there as to just make sure this Pokemon is nice and safe to do what it needs to do.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at what this turn will bring. Is it just going to be a Draining Kiss, or it is Thunderclap doing quite a bit of damage there as Draining Kiss is taking his Raging Bolt's health massively, and that Calyrex is just back on full health again as a Parting Shot will lower the Raging Bolt's special attack now as well. So not going to be able to do all that much as Rillaboom is coming in, and Rillaboom can just fake out just as well, as we do know that this Raging Bolt is also unfortunately the Assault Vest set.
Oh god, if that was the damage from an Assault Vest one, I dread to think what that would have done to a non-Assault Vested one. Keeping itself alive, however, it is sat there now going to be suffering for its own choice of clothing. Moltres sitting there looking pretty, putting up that Tailwind for it, but I'm not sure what this Moltres can actually do to pull things back beyond Denta Rillaboom.
Yeah, it's not looking all that great right now for Luke. So let's take a look at if he finds the answer that we cannot, with a bit of health restoring there. So that's kind of nice in that regard. As a fake out into the Moltres, not working, as now this Raging Bolt is able to move. It is going to be Thunderclap, doing at the very least some more damage. And now Acid Barrage will KO this Raging Bolt and give another boost to this Calyrex. See, we talked about a lot about snowballing earlier with Dynamax, but I feel Calyrex is just bringing that back. He's just like, no, snowballing, I got that. I got that.
Calyrex showing us how snowballing is meant to be done.
Yeah. I don't need to get big to snowball, all right? Like, listen, as Chimpao is now coming in. Chimpao is able to potentially at least Ice Crash plus Moltres. A double up might be enough for Calyrex to KO. Unfortunately, we do know that there's an Incineroar in the back waiting to be swapped in, waiting to fake out yet again while this Calyrex is just going to be able to protect there. So this is just you have to play very carefully around this Calyrex. So if you're calling the Incineroar swap and the Calyrex isn't doing that at all and just is able to Draining Kiss, for example, that might be game as well. So let's take a look at what the decision will be from Luke here. With Chimpao and a Moltres on the field.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Intimidate coming in for this Incineroar, switching in for its teammate of Rillaboom. Calyrex going to protect itself, keeping itself nice and safe. Icicle Crash coming out into Incineroar with a critical hit, doing respectable damage, even though that is resisted. And Air Slash going into there. Luke choosing the best time to be making a double up into that slot, reading that Calyrex's protection.
Yep, but now you have the unfortunate thing of, now I have to protect, because both these Pokemon will feint, well, at least the Moltres will, to Acid Barrage. If the fake out does go in Chimpao, that does mean that the Chimpao will go down as well. But when you do, that gives the Calyrex an option to protect yet again in the following turn, where the Chimpao is and the Moltres are both slower than the Calyrex. So this is just that patient game that Calyrex can play just as well. I can snowball, I can wait for a bit, rest in the ski hut for a bit, I have an après-ski, and then go back to skiing off the slope again. So let's take a look at what the decision maker will be here. because
Yeah, coming
I
out
do
here,
feel.
we see Fake Out going into that Shenpao, breaking any potential slash, flinching so that it is incapable of retorting. The +1 air slash doing respectable damage to the Calyrex there. However, Astral Barrage is going to come in and show you what damage means, dropping Shenpao and the not resisted anymore Galarian Moltres to the floor.
Yeah, that was a massive amount of damage. And honestly, that is the thing about the Calyrex balance teams. It is quite hard to try and find the way to go about this. You have to find the right time to strike. And if you're playing extra safe, like Dave is doing, it is most of the time the best play to do. Because Luke was trying to call out any potential switches when the Calyrex was protecting. Every time the Calyrex did protect, Luke did attack the other slot, but unfortunately didn't manage to bring out the win in that regard. Alright, sorry, my cat's meowing.
The cat's just as excited as we are for these games. From that, we've seen both players demonstrate sort of what their teams are trying to do here. However, as clearly proven, Davey managed to pull his off a lot more. Calyrex taking what Calyrex does, making its boosts and running away with games. So for Luke, what are we thinking he may adapt into?
Maybe more. Yeah, the speed control option was nice, but keeping the Terra potentially for maybe another Pokemon, because I don't think that a +2 Terra Fairy Draining Kiss kills the Moltres, and then you get the boost, and then you have the potential to go for another thing. So maybe using Terra for another Pokemon could prove to be useful. But yeah, the way Luke was playing, he was already predicting a lot that Dave was doing, but Dave kept being able to keep one step ahead because it was fairly safe. Luke just has to go on beyond, a step further. He has to get onto that escalator and just be 2 steps ahead and know exactly what Dave is doing in this regard, because I don't see really another good way of dealing with this Calyrex otherwise.
Yeah, he's definitely a Pokemon that it causes plenty of players problems. However, we will have a look at what Luke chooses to respond with to see how these are ready to roll. Hitting the field for our players, we see Incineroar and Calyrex. Once again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And we're going to see Moltres and Zamazenta. I think we've seen this before. Ready to try again, leading from the same position.
Yep, so we already have seen that Calyrex went for that instant Terra Fairy earlier and faking out to Zamazenta, making sure that it would not Behemoth Bash onto this Calyrex. Maybe, well, the tail was a good call out with the Moltres being able to secure that. So let's see what the potential here is from Luke's side. It is going to be the instant Terra Fairy yet again. Wide Guard coming out for Zamazenta this time around, predicting another thing as Fake Out will fake out to Zamazenta, not really working as Wide Guard is there, and a nasty plot. Now, Tailwind coming out, and that means that right now you have the option to Behemoth Bash into the Calyrex and Moltres potentially Air Slash. But then again, we're here yet again in the same place where, of course, if you call something, you have to call it really well.
Yeah, we are back at almost exactly the same stage as we were ready to go into Game 2, Stage 2 of Game 1. However, Zamazenta has taken what could be very important chip damage. He lied.
That is the potential, of course. Let's take a look at what the call will be from Luke's side, as it is going to be a switch out to Clefairy, so giving that Frengar boost as well. Zamazenta just going for the Protect this time around, so maybe trying to see if it's going to be yet again a Draining Kiss. It is just another nasty plot. Oh, this Calyrex is +4 and quite ready to really wreak havoc right now.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a point in this game that I am expecting us to see in the not too distant future where Calyrex is going to just press Astral Barrage and things are going to fall over. And with Clefairy next to it, it is bulky enough to take any of these hits that I think can be thrown into it, assuming they even want to, with Follow Me ready to redirect it away. Calyrex is going to be an menace.
Yep, exactly. So let's take a look at what Luke will try to do. It is the Moltres, go for the Terra Fairy, is Behemoth Bash into Calyrex. And even at -1, that's not doing any damage. That's absolutely mental how little
-1.
damage that did.
-1 and Frengard not doing a lot, but in return, Calyrex once again going, I'm going to press Astral Barrage and things are going to fall over. Clapping off its special attack back at the maximum +6, and Life Dew knowing what's going on, getting his health back at Clefairy, negating most of the influence Luke had managed to take that turn.
This is quite well. Honestly, does that look like the face of mercy? Clefairy really showcasing. Oh, you think that was damage? Let me put that right back up there. Sorry, top shelf. You can't touch it. Sorry. As now Calyrex, there's still Tailwind. You have Cheap Power and Raging Bolt, but with this Clefairy, I do feel as Calyrex is still safe, even though it is slower right now. So. This I have no idea what the adaptation, what the possibility here is for Luke. But if anyone can do it, I feel it's Luke.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a try going into what could potentially be our final turn of the game. Follow me, keeping Clefairy nice and targeted. Critical hit, still made from the Icicle Crash, keeping us alive. Calyrex using Draining Kiss to absolutely one-tap a Raging Bolt down to the floor, healing up that extra little bit of damage once more.
Yep, and now with Team Power versus the world, it is not looking like a great time. This Icicle Crash critting yet again, just like game 1, but this crit wasn't enough. This Clefairy is still hanging on, and now Tailwind is gonna end. Calyrex is still on the field. Clefairy will be able to redirect, and this Team Power is not looking as comfortable as it would like to be.
Yeah, there are 2 turns. Look at potentially 2 turns left of this game, maybe even 1. Follow me coming out here. Shampoo not being faster than Calyrex, eating a Draining Kiss, dropping it to its sash. Calyrex already at full health, and Icicle Crash missing to add insult to injury. And I think things have gone from bleak to devastated for Luke here.
Yeah, that is quite unfortunate. That is generally, Calyrex is such a strong, overwhelming Pokemon that can just run away with games like that. As you mentioned earlier, with the potential to just snowball out of control. This is clearly showcasing that Calyrex, with the right support, can just really decide the pace of the game as well. Even when you call, like Luke called right turns in game 1, Calyrex was like, those 2 turns, you got me. I still don't care. I do not care for it. I'm sorry. I will just kiss you, and just get out of hell back.
And get its health back, it did. It dropped from orange to green on multiple occasions. Yeah. However, that will be wrapping up a set very comfortably 2-0 for David.
Yep. So that does bring that's 2-0. So that does mean that we will be having match 3 in a bit. I don't remember what teams they were on, so my bad.
I've got them up in front of me. That is the Cubfu Fighters and the Montenerva Mushrooms. Mushanas even, not mushrooms. I've got mushrooms on the brain from playing some TCG earlier. There is the Cubfu Fighters, which David has brought to a two wins, playing the current 3 wins of the Montenerva Mushrooms. However, 1 game is yet to be reported, so that team match may still end up as a tie.
Well said. So we're halfway through. That means the next match will be Rich versus Tad. Richard versus Tad. And the match of that is Jack versus Jack, which is Jack Marshall versus Jack Clark. But right now, we're going to Richard and Tad as well. So let's take a look at what the stats here are on these Pokemon. We have looking at Richard had managed to get a Stuttgart top 256 as well. Well done in that regard. And Tad is a TCG player convinced by friends to try. And honestly, respect if you are able to switch over. That is not an easy thing to do. So I'm Team Tad. I know I'm not supposed to be biased, but when you're coming from TCG to VGC, that is such a huge step to take, because I feel personally, I do play TCG and VGC as well. I do feel like it is easier to get into the TCG and play at a certain level than it is for VGC, as you have to learn so many more things if you're unaware of these.
Yeah, the knowledge transfer between the 2 games beyond this type beats that type is certainly something to take on. And say I was playing some TCG myself today, and it is one of the. It's a different skill set in its entirety to run around with. So coming over to VGC, as backing up what Sean said, is a challenge, but congratulations for taking on that challenge. Looking at the teams we have in front of us, Tad is rocking out with a electric-powered Miraidon team, followed with Farigiraf, Entei, Whimsicott, Ogapon, Rockform, I believe, and the Okidogi.
Alright, so Okidogi, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that Pokemon be able to do anything, as it is a Life Orb Okidogi with 3 attacks and Protect. We have Ogerpon Cornerstone with Spiky Shield, Ivy Cudgel, Power Whip, and Follow Me. Pretty standard set there. Whimsicott with Encore, Moonblast Tail, and Light Screen to really support and punish those Trick Rooms that you want to set up. Because if you set up that Trick Room, this Whimsicott might just set up it wants you to set it up once again. Then you have Entei with the Assault Vest. Honestly, I love Entei. Love the third movie. Entei is great. With Sacred Fire, Extreme Speed, Stomping Tantrum, and Crunch this time around. And then Miraidon. We've seen Miraidon. It is choice specs. It is powerful. Electro drifting all the way. Volt switching if it's not really comfortable. And then Farigiraf to really help it as well, together with his Armor Tail and potentially reverse Trick Rooming as well, which might come in handy in this sort of game.
Yeah, especially with Rich Lithorium here holding the Calyrex Ice team. Calyrex Ice, we've got Smeargle, we've got Ursaluna, Blood Moon, we've got another Farigiraf, there is a Chi-Yu and a Rillaboom, definitely insinuating the intention to go, no, we are pressing Trick Room, we're going slow, and we are gonna hit you damn hard.
Yeah, this Smeargle is one of those scary things because it is also can decorate. When you're in Trick Room, being able to use that on Calyrex Ice or even Ursaluna Blood Moon, while these Pokemon are already ginormous powerhouses, suddenly them being at +2 can manage to run away with quite a few games. So I'm interested to see if this Smeargle is going to be able to really decorate its teammates in that regard. A Scarf, Chi-Yu, Farigiraf as well to help with more Trick Room, and then Rillaboom as the support, and of course, it is grassy terrain. It is hitting hard. It is making sure that this Miraidon will do just that little bit less damage with its electric moves as well.
Absolutely. We'll see if this Rillaboom is going to be entering the battlefield first to see if it can take away that grassy terrain as we are ready to rock and roll. Leading off for both our trainers, we have Calyrex and Rillaboom hitting the field for Rich, and for Tad we are going to see Miraidon and the Farigiraf. Terrain's about to go up. We are going to see an Unnerve from As1. We are going to see Electric Terrain from the Future Engine, which is immediately going to set off an Electric Berry Seed, raising Farigiraf's defense, dropping that terrain in favor of some grassy terrain. That is 4 different things all going off on turn 0.
Quite a lot of information suddenly going off there in that regard. Miraidon doing a bit less damage now with its electric moves, but still a threat nonetheless, as it does carry Draco Meteor. And with Farigiraf on the field, you are sure that this Rillaboom is not able to fake out either, so this Miraidon will be able to at least get a move off, while this Calyrex is able to try and survive as well as it can versus this Miraidon.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting dilemmas going on for this turn, as we are going to see a Terra Fire straight away from Calyrex. However, that does not protect it from the Volt Switch, doing a good 40%. Okidogi coming in here to take that. However, U-turn is going to hit from Rillaboom out of the field, making sure terrains are reset. Smeargle back on for Lith. We see Glacial Lance coming out and doing good damage. However, Farigiraf setting up that Trick Room for both players, which I think Rich will be quite thankful for.
Yeah, Rich really liking this right now because Trick Room has been set up for him while he was able to just deal the damage. And honestly, Glacial Lance doing 53% to Okidogi was not something I had on my list here because, oh my god, that is a lot of damage to have. And these Smeargles are trained to be slower than the Calyrex, so right now this Smeargle can go for a potential Decorate onto this Calyrex and just make sure that this Glacial Line will absolutely obliterate anything in front of him. So if anything, hopefully this Farigiraf is able to survive, reverse Trick Room, or go for a potential foul play onto this Calyrex to make sure that it will no longer be on the field, because right now it is looking quite dire for Tad in that regard.
Yeah, if anything can rip open a Calyx, it will be foul play. We're going to see these grassy terrains ticking up a little bit of healing as we go into the final next turn. Okidogi is going to protect, keeping itself nice and healthy. Spore coming out from Smeargle, bouncing off that shield. We see close combat coming out from Calyx, a move we don't see too often on there, dropping its own defenses, hitting to Photograph, not doing a grand amount of damage. Foul play coming in though, and doing a little bit more damage back to the Horse Rider.
Yep. And now, thanks to the grassy terrain, Okidogi back into the green. We've seen foul play do decent damage, and the Calyx defenses are dropped as well. So right now, this Photograph still has a shot here of trying to survive here. The fear is just that decorate. That is just the one fear that I have right now. The potential is also there of the Smeargle of just following me, trying to make sure that it is able to keep this Calyx safe. So hopefully Tad makes a good call here, because this is not an easy call to make, to know what this Smeargle is doing as the potential of options that it has here, really.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity to punish, and we'll go in, and we are going to see what's going to go on. Okidogi's going to try and protect itself again, however, it does fail. Decorate coming in onto Calyx, getting itself to +2/+2. Glacial Lance coming in, critical hits on Okidogi, not that I think it needed it, and is going to be bringing down 2 KOs, getting itself another +2 boost onto its physical attack, and it is ready and raring to rip apart the opposition.
Yeah, and now Mirada and Whimsicott are coming in. Whimsicott, unfortunately, not being able to encore this Calyx into, does not want to encore it into Glacial Lance, but with this Trick Room still up, this is not looking all that great right now, with Mirada not able to protect either, and of course, this Calyx now a +3, like, yeah, +4 even. So being able to just absolutely decimate anything that remains here on the field, which I'm pretty sure we are going to see in this turn.
Yeah, we're going to see a Terror Electric come out from Morion. If it manages to survive, it will be able to pump out some big damage with that. However, a +6 Glacial Lance, not much gets to the +6 Glacial Lance, and those things don't include a Whimsicott and a Miraidon.
Very much not so. So well played in that regard for Richard. As that was just Smeargle and Calyx was very well played, and also the mind game of seeing like who's gonna put up the Trick Room. So like, are you gonna set up Trick Room for me? Do you want to reverse the Trick Room that I want to set up? That already had, like, coming from TCG, thinking about that, I feel that is something that I do have to mention about thinking about that possible play there.
Yeah, I definitely absolutely respect looking for that
a step further in that regard. So. But honestly, well played, trying to cover the Trick Room there. Unfortunately, yeah, these are the games we play, unfortunately. So sometimes a call like that can prove to be quite painful for yourself as well in the following turn.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest way to find out what's going to press Trick Room and what isn't. And well done to Rich for reading that Tad was going to set up that Trick Room for him and abusing that situation accordingly. Players-wise, team-wise, what are we expecting? Are we going to see some changes up for both players? Because I'd say turn one, I think, was a very exciting team. Lots of things happened. Lots of things could have changed to make things, do things differently, set up speed differently. Do we think the leads are going to stay the same? Or are we going to expect a different revolving door of Pokemon?
I do think the Photograph is the key way here to deal with this Trick Room. The unfortunate thing is now, if Richard is gonna deal with that, with the potential of Chiyu there, or just go for the hard Trick Room yet again. So I genuinely hope that Tad is able to get his game plan going of Miraidon just being able to click these strong electric moves, but you're not really able to do that as long as this Rillaboom is there. So I do think the same lead from Tad is quite all right, but maybe the potential of the Rock Ogerpon is there, being able to Ivy Cudgel this Ice Rider, despite it being able to Terra, it is still going to be weak to that Rock Ivy Cudgel.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic knowledge to have and a good, astute observation to see, especially with the sturdy ability. You'll be able to definitely take one hit, no matter how big this Calyrex gets, and most of them traditionally carry Follow Me, so it can even try and keep some of its teammates alive from potential close combat or from some big damage from something like the Rillaboom or a Blood Moon, going for Blood Moon in that situation. But that's enough talk. There's a game to play.
Let's take a look at the game. All right, let's see what the leads are. It is Karak's Eyes from Rich's side and Rillaboom. No change in the lead here, as it is Farigiraf. And on the other side, it will be the Miraidon. So no changes in the leads here. I do believe this was the correct plan here. So let's take a look at what the adaptation could possibly be here to try and make sure that this Trick Room does not go up, or at the very least, this Farigiraf is able to deal some damage to this Calyrex as well.
Yeah, we're back on Mind Game Central. However, Miraidon is going to Terra Electric straight out the gate, ready to put out some big damage. Calyrex is Terra firing to cover its own back from those foul plays. Discharge coming out doing huge damage to everything, paralyzing Rillaboom, making itself slower. Woodhammer coming in, finishing off for Farigiraf, but it does not matter. It did what it needed to do with Helping Hand. Calyrex is going to then survive and put up Trick Room itself.
All right, Trick Room is up, but the good thing about this, at the very least, Whimsicott is able to make sure that this Trick Room will stay up with the potential of Encore. Miraidon being able to keep discharging, so still doing very decent damage there. So honestly, this doesn't seem like the worst spot yet for Tad. Maybe losing the Farigiraf, unfortunate, but we work with the things that we have, and honestly, that discharge was powerful, did quite a bit. So let's take a look at what the next play will be here.
You know, Tad's definitely in a very commanding position here. So Luna's going to come in here, dodging the Encore from Whimsicott. We're going to see U-turn coming out from Rillaboom, getting out of the field, paralyzed, nice and slow now. Also keeping terrain manipulation available. Meanwhile, Miraidon is going to press Discharge. It is not going to affect Ursaluna. It's going to be not very effective on Whimsicott. However, Smeagol is going to take a lot of damage and get dropped down to its sash.
Yeah, with Smeagol on its sash, it is still able to go for a potential Decorate here. So looking at the possibilities here, I don't know what Whimsicott does have Light Screen. So if you're able to survive, this is the time that you have to try and survive with Whimsicott. Just Light Screen up. Hopefully the Miraidon survives anything that the Ursaluna might be throwing out at you. It is just very scary because, of course, this Smeagol has the potential to go for just a Decorate yet again. And this time, without Calyrex, it's just going to go for the Ursaluna.
It could even spore this Miraidon here to keep it down, since the electric terrain is no longer on the field. I think you're correct in saying the light screen is the play here. I think Miraidon wants to leave the field. I think you sacrifice what you got in the back to this Ursaluna's big scream.
So let's take a look at what this play will. It is the Okidogi switching in, trying to make sure that this Miraidon is able to switch moves as well. Spore coming in to Okidogi. Whimsicott not moving just yet, and Hyper Voice coming out, doing quite a bit of damage, but it's still hanging on. Now Miraidon is able to switch moves at the very least, so but with Okidogi is quite unfortunate in that regard, because Spore does work as long as Electric Chain is not on the field. But now Terrain is back on the field. There's no Spore potential. Let's take a look at if this Miraidon is able to carry this game right now, because it needs to do a bit of heavy lifting. But if anything, if any Pokemon can deal massive amount of damage to multiple Pokemon, I do believe it's Miraidon.
I would like to agree. How Rillaboom is going to come back in. We are going to see that electric terrain wiped from the field with no potential to reset it. A little bit of healing coming in, however. Earth Power coming out from Ursaluna into Miraidon, dropping it from near full with that super effective special attack.
All right, my bad. I said Miraidon. I meant to say Okidogi is the Pokemon to be able to carry it still. We have Protect on Okidogi, so it is able to protect here for the Fake Out and the Ursaluna Earth Power, and I just bring it right back because it is Life Orb, Drain Punch. It can poison jab the Rillaboom. The Smeagol is quite slow, and then yeah, there's an Ice Rider, but it's quite low. So if any Pokemon can do it, it's Okidogi right now. So Okidogi needs to wake up right now and just. Oh, it's actually waking up! Wait, Protect. This is it. I'm actually believing.
Rillaboom takes a full power.
With the Blood Moon not working, so that means his Okidogi is now able to move right now, being able to Drain Punch one of these targets, Drain Punch the Ursaluna, hopefully KO it, and then, well, move on from there, right?
Yeah, there's always a way back into a game when situations like that may occur, but can Okidogi do this? We've given it the gas, we've given it the hype, let's see what it's going to roll. We
excuse me.
Slightly skipped the turn.
Yep.
Just a quick recap of where we were. Okidogi's awake again. It is going to protect itself once more. We are
great
ready.
Moment. Good protect. Great
we need the highlight reel.
Yep. This is just the replay. As the Blood Moon going into the protect here, not working. That means Blood Moon is off the table. So right now, Okidogi just go for it. Drain punch this thing. Protect from the Earth Suit working quite well. Meaning this Rillaboom is potentially able to U-turn and switch out to the Smurgle. And that's not good because the Smurgle has followed me.
Oh no, we might be seeing the closing turns of the game here. However, that was a well-read turn from Rich there, trying to keep his Ursaluna protected, identifying that it is the asset needed to wrap up this game. We might have gassed up Okidogi, as Okidogi might be eating an Earth Power very soon.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to do. Still a Drain Punch coming. It survived!
I'm not surprised it survived. Ursaluna is very thick on the physical side. However, that did a lot more than I was expecting it to, quite frankly, and Okidogi healed quite a lot. However, it did not heal enough to handle the damage from the Ursaluna's Earth Power. Yeah. Well done there to Rich, managing to wrap up that game against Tad. In conclusion for those games, they were a lot closer than we were than could have been. Like for Tad especially, there was one or two turns where it's like either a misstep here or a pickup there from one or two things could absolutely have changed those in that favor, especially on that turn one of that game. Just going for the, well, we might let you take Trifferium up, but everything's going to suffer for it kind of play, I think was a great adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely. But that was well played by both players. I feel, honestly, I might have gassed up exactly the Okidogi a bit too much. It is still a Dream Punch. It is not all that powerful. But I was expecting, it's live or boosted. It's stat. Honestly, Okidogi can carry it. But I have to respect Blursaluna, of course, with its bulk. Massive amount of bulk as well. But that does mean, after this game, we are now at the last and final game that we can really commentate here. And some people have called this the Jack Off, as two players both called Jack playing. It is Jack Marshall versus Jack Clark playing this set. Jack Marshall, of course, top 32 in Liverpool in 2024, won NPAA season in 2024, won Opal season, won in 2023, got Worlds 2024, his invite as well, won a few locals, quite important to mention, you have to respect the locals as well, and played in the PGL. So very, honestly, quite a few accolades and showcasing that we are in for a doozy as these players are gearing up to play as well.
Yeah, and not to mention, however, on his opponent on the side of for Jack Clark, Golden Cosmos, is not only a well accoladed player, but he's got accolades to rival with a Worlds Day 2 in 2022 and 2023, top 32s in Liverpool and Gdansk regionals in 2024, the World Cup and World Cup Pokemon team member for UK for 21, 22, and 23.
The triple, the legendary triple UK team member. That does mean next year, next season quite soon, hopefully, for the quadruple. So we are here. This game will not be on Showdown. It will be in-game. I will shortly, think we have some time. Yeah, we have some time before the teas as well. We have Kyogre, a Kyogre team from Jarshal's side and on Jack's side from, of course, for the Golden Cosmos, it's going to be a Miraidon team. We have seen Jarsel's team before. It is used by Shiliang Teng with Kyogre, Incineroar, Wu Chen, Grimmsnarl, Urshifu Rapid Strike, and Iron Jugulis. While on the other hand, for Golden Cosmos, it's Miraidon, Farigiraf, King Gambit, a Pokemon I don't see all that often, I'll be very real, Volcarona, Serena, which honestly, I expect more on a Kyogre team, but it's quite cool to see. And Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle working quite great with the Hadron engine from Miraidon, boosting its speed thanks to its Quark Drive as well.
Yeah, Kyogre Miraidon matchups are always really interesting ones to watch as well, because these are very pivotal on the Kyogre's Terra types. Traditionally, they're Terra Grass, maybe Terra Dragon from time to time. However, Grass in this matchup is the one you are looking for, and it turns the Miraidon current, like, you'd look at Kyogre staring down a big, fast electric dragon, okay, it's just going to absolutely nuke this thing. Make it Terra Grass, it resists these hits, it's nice and specially bulky. It's one of the few Pokemon out there that can weirdly turn that tide of a match into a more difficult one for Miraidon. But Iron Bundle causes problems for either of those types with its freeze dry attacks, and is generally going to be a really interesting and hopefully quite intense match.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look at what these players are going to do here, and let's get right into it. It is time. Final match, week 3. Let's get it.
Absolutely. These players fighting for their representative sides. We've got the Glimwood Garchomps for Jarshall, the Battle Subway Surfers for Jack, and we are ready to hit the battlefield. I was going to say for Jack. They're both Jacks.
Yeah.
Jarshall and Cosmos we're going to have to go for these ones.
So it's Cosmos on this side, while Jack has the Kyogre there. So we have the Miraidon and the Serena on the field. Hadron Engine activating, showcasing, Electric Train working, so that means also a boost for this Iron Jugglers, and Kyogre and Iron Jugglers on Jarshall's side. This is quite nice, of course, because this Kyogre is a Solfest and Terra Grass, so not really caring all that much about Miraidon, but you still have to respect Miraidon's sheer amount of damage that it can do.
Yeah, it can always pump out loads of damage, especially when there's no way to override this terrain. What these players are ready to roll with is interesting, especially with the Serena coming out. I do wonder what Cosmos was predicting Jarshall to be going for, hoping to protect that wide lens. We see the item on it there, preparing for a mighty suite of attacks that might not be as accurate as they were hoping for. Timer ticking down, thinking very heavily in turn 1. What are we going to see? We are going to jump into this turn with a Terrestrializing straight out of the gate for one of our Pokemon. It is for this Kyogre. It's going to be hitting that Terra Grass, putting on its Flower Pot, ready to receive a hit.
Yeah, trying to make sure that it stays safe despite all the electric attacks that Miraidon can throw out. It is coming out from Serena, making sure that it is able to survive the potential hurricane from this Iron Jugglers that can come out. It is just going to be the Tailwind, making sure this Kyogre is going to be moving first before even this Miraidon with amazing speed. Water Spout coming out. Let's take a look at how much this is doing to Miraidon. It is resisted, but it is full health. And still doing about 50% is quite a bit. As Draco Meteor into the Kyogre, doing massive amount of damage and making sure that this Water Spout is doing just that much more less damage right now.
Yeah, Water Spout I don't think is going to be a viable option to be pressing anymore, and Origin Pulse is universally unreliable. So taking that Draco Meteor, reading the Terrestrial, which it's the play that Kyogre has to make. But do they? Because you've got those wonderful mind games once again coming through for both players. Jarshall there taking a big hit from that Draco Meteor. Kyogre not looking terribly healthy right now. Miraidon's going to leave the battlefield as I am talking, wanting to take away that stat drop it's received. Bundle's going to come in here, grab a Quark Drive boost, making it the probably outspeeding things, even though they're under Tailwind, because Iron Bundle is a very fast Robo-Bird.
Yeah, it's amazingly fast. It is one of those Pokemon. King Gambit also switching in. It is the Hurricane onto the King Gambit. King Gambit is able to take that quite well, thanks to its Steel typing. As the Origin Pulse is coming out, it is able to connect on both these targets, doing a bit to the King Gambit. But luckily, the Assault Vest really helping there in that regard. And Iron Bundle, that was resisted? Wait.
Iron Bundle may be a Water type, able to take that hit, but if it wasn't for that Water type, it'd be dropping, as its special defense is notoriously low.
Yeah, that is not looking really great in that regard. Now, Iron Jugglers did have the booster speed as well and has Tailwind, so I do believe that might just be faster than the Iron Bundle in that regard. But it still has to pick a target, really, as it has to go for the Iron Bundle then. And that means leaves the King Gambit free and open to just Sucker Punch into the Kyogre slot, as it is the only Pokemon that is not carrying Protect and has only attacking boost thanks to that Assault Vest as well. Miraidon switching back in with the Electric Train as a Protect coming out from the Iron Jugglers, meaning it is a prime target for a potential Sucker Punch. It is Sucker Punch. Is it enough to KO it? And yes, it is. And there goes the Kyogre. One of the restricteds immediately down from Jarshall's side. But honestly, this Kyogre has put in a lot of work with the Water Spout earlier and chipping down at least 3 Pokemon to 50 or below %.
Yeah, it's definitely done a KO's worth of damage across 3 Pokemon, but hasn't quite managed to resolve those into a proper knockout of its own before it has dropped to the back of this trainer's bag of Pokeballs. Yeah, close enough.
Gotta keep
Getting
that
lost in
mind.
my own words is going well, but we will do it now. Joshua is going to return us to the battlefield with a new Pokemon. That Pokemon is going to be Urshifu. That is going to be the Rapid Strike Urshifu, I believe, looking
Yep.
from the stance it is holding.
It is Rapid Strike Urshifu, and it is a Choice Scarf version as well, meaning it is able to move faster, definitely, than this Miraidon still. Being able to really threaten both the Kingambit and Miraidon with a close combat. I do believe they might just be in range of that, especially with a double up from this Iron Jugglers. So, looking at the potential options here, the Kingambit really not wanting to be on this field right now. It does carry Iron Hand for at least some damage onto the Iron Jugglers, or low kick for some, but two dark resist Pokemon really working out quite well for themselves right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Urshifu, obviously, and it's a weird mode we get to see where two Pokemon outspeeding a Miraidon, which is not something that happens all terribly often. Miraidon, however, is not going to get to see that as it is going to leave the field, bringing Serena in its place. However, Hurricane going into that slot, going to do some big damage. Is it going to be enough to pick up the one-hit KO? And it is. Serena arrives to the battlefield and proceeds to leave it just as quickly.
Yep, and now with the close combat, this Kingambit not be really able to tech that. Yeah, that is quite a tough hit to take there in that regard. But that does mean that two new Pokemon, the two last Pokemon can come in, which is the Iron Bundle plus the Miraidon, and this might actually be prime time because this Iron Bundle is carrying the Icy Wind, being able to make sure that both this Iron Jugglers and this Scarf Urshifu could potentially get slower than this Miraidon, and this Miraidon can then in turn deal with either of these Pokemon. It is also Dazzling Gleam, not unfortunately, it is not the discharge set, but Dazzling Gleam might really be good right now because you do have that Terra option as well. Going for Terra Fairy onto either of these Pokemon. These Pokemon do not resist it, and if you manage to connect both Icy Winds, really good position, I feel.
Yeah. I definitely think Icy Wind into Terra Fairy, double Dazzling Gleam might be enough to clean up a little bit of house here, as both of these Pokemon on Joshua's side of the field are weak to that Fairy type.
Yeah, we just saw the back end of the potential Pokemon, and it's Wu Chen, Incineroar, or Grimmsnarl, and all three Pokemon are relatively weak to Dazzling Gleam. So Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam might be a really good play, as the Urshifu is switching out last turn of that electric terrain as well. So well seen by Jarshell, trying to make sure that it is able to hang on just a bit longer as Miraidon's attack is falling. Protect from the Iron Jugglers. That means the boosted energy will still activate in the following turn as this electric terrain will disappear. Ice Wind will only affect this Incineroar right now, and honestly, a slower Incineroar not really minding it right now.
Yeah, I don't think a Incineroar's speed is the biggest of its worries, or biggest of Cosmos' worries for that matter, as the Miraidon's going to go for a Dazzling Gleam, doing good respectable amount of damage to this Incineroar. It's a lot more than I was expecting it to receive. The electric terrain is now going to drop off. Bundle's Quark Drive is going to fall off. Quark Drive is also going to fall off for the Iron Jugglers, but them showing the way the speeds have fallen was the case. Booster Energy, however, reactivating that Quark Drive for the Iron Jugulus, and therefore maintaining its position as a fast Pokemon.
Yep, so well positioned here, really, as now it's quite a difficult position to be in because, of course, now this Miraidon will be slower than either of these Pokemon. You can keep your Terra potentially to make sure that you predict what the Urshifu might be clicking in that regard. If you go for Terra Fairy, then the Urshifu can click Close Combat. If you don't for Terra, you might be able to survive a Surging Strikes in that regard. But this is just gonna be Terra Fairy. We're just gonna hit the button, hit the super effective button. Dazzling Gleam coming out in a bit as the Iron Bundle is protecting itself, trying to make sure that it stays safe just for a bit longer. As the Fake Out will just go into the Miraidon, doing a bit of damage as the Tailwind is coming out just as well.
Yeah, establishing a sort of, it's a slow, not defensive, but like a status setting turn for Jarshell there. However, with that being faking it into the Pokemon that can't protect, and then setting up that Tailwind ensures that all the Pokemon on Jarshell, well, the Urshifu in the back at least, Incineroar not known for its speed, even under Tailwind, it might not be able to outspeed the things it needs to do. Iron Bundle there does manage to get a second Protect off, though, going for that double, and the Jugular's going for a snarl here, going to be able to reduce that damage that the
that's
Miraidon is
true.
capable
I
of.
completely forgot about Snarl. So Terra Fairy might be actually be trying to kind of play that to try and make sure that Dazzling Gleam here with the Terra Fairy. Let's take a look at if this is still able to do enough. Wow. I'm honestly impressed by Iron Jugglers. The bulk on that. What?
Yeah, Iron Jugular surprised me with that. And even though, obviously that -1 coming in clutch, meaning that it definitely lived that. However, I'm not quite sure, looking at that damage, whether there's a chance that it's a damage roll, whether it lives a Miraidon, a Dazzling, Terra Fairy, Miraidon, Dazzling Gleam, without that Snarl drop.
That is a hard call to make. I'm honestly just impressed by how bulky it is. And like this, just the Iron Jugglers has been putting up so much work. It is working so well together with the Kyogre and well against the Miraidon with its Hadron Engine with the electric terrain there. So really hard to see as another Snarl coming out. We'll be able to deal with the Iron Bundle there. Only Miraidon left onto the field. Try and make sure what the options here are. You can go for another Dazzling Gleam, and that should put both of these Pokemon down. Unfortunately, the last Pokemon in the back will be that Scarf Urshifu with Tailwind up. So we can safely say, I feel, that it is going to be faster.
Yeah, I think the only way now that this goes wrong for Jarshal here is a misclick, and I would like to think that players of this caliber, while it does happen, will be avoiding it in their tournament matches.
Yeah,
we've got Dazzling Gleam being locked in here, Surging Strike coming out, and it's going to need 2 Surging Strikes, so it is at least multiple, but it is enough to finish off Miraidon and drop it down to the floor.
Should have taken the second one to make sure that the third one to survive it, but that does mean that the first game does go to Jack, to Jarshal this time around. And now Cosmos needs to try and find the adaptation here. What do you reckon would be a good adaptation? Because I do like the Serena, because Serena also has triple axle in case the Kyogre does manage to go for a Terra Grass. So you're covering with the electric move and triple axle. The unfortunate thing is triple axle isn't all that reliable, but then again, so is Dracometer. So it is one of those things where I think Serena could have stayed in, but you're just so afraid of Hurricane. That's the issue. Hurricane is just, we saw it just one hit KO to Serena.
Yeah, Serena is definitely an interesting one for this matchup, because obviously it's prepared to deal with a bit of the Terra Grass stuff. It can threaten the Urshifu. It threatens sort of hard pseudo answers the Incineroar with that. While it does suffer the Intimidate, and it will not enjoy a Flare Blitz even in the rain, assuming it's carrying Flare Blitz, of course. The Serena itself is going to prevent that fake out. We saw there's a Grimmsnarl on the other side of the field as well, which it will be dealing with some of its shenanigans should it be carrying those prankster guff.
Yeah.
However, what are you thinking yourself? Or we said the Serena. Is there anything else you're looking at for these players, or we are ready to rock?
I think personally the Volcarona from Cosmos might kind of be interesting. It is Overheat, Struggle Bug, Rage Powder, Protect, but it's Terra Grass in that regard. No, wait. Never mind, because the whole issue is that Iron Jugglers really obstructing right now. Maybe you just use Miraidon to just immediately deal with this Iron Jugglers, because Jugglers is the perfect support Pokemon, and we've seen it stay on the field the entire game and how it was just able to support as well as possible. Okay, you killed Miraidon, that's fine, but I still got my Iron Jugglers. I still get the speed boost. I still got the Tailwind up. I got Snarl. I got Hurricane. With all of that, it is just able to really try and to dissect Cosmos' team. So I'm wondering what Cosmos will bring here to try and adapt to just make sure this Iron Jugglers does not put up as much work as it did earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it's allowed to run rampant, but will it be running rampant in our second game in the battle for Alpha Jack? We will see. The
not
trainer
Alpha
cards.
Jack.
the Jack Superior, Jack Dominus,
Jack Supreme, Jack Supreme,
Jack Supreme, Jack Supreme. Oh, that sounds like a dodgy pizza.
Yeah, honestly. As we have leads,
yeah.
it is Grinsnall and Kyogre this time around. And on the other side, we have Miraidon plus Iron Bundle. So adaptations all around, as Freeze Dry would have hit Iron Jugglers. But now this Grinsnall is able to support with any sort of light screen as well. And Quark Drive helping this Iron Bundle as well with its speed in that regard. But let me take a quick look again at what the Grinsnall moveset was. It is Reflect, Light Screen, Thunder Wave, and Spirit Break. So Spirit Break also not a move that you want to go up against when you play Miraidon. But the nice thing is you do have a potential nice switch in, as we saw in the back there. We have the potential of King Gambit there.
Yes, that would definitely be a good way to catch and abuse. I think Miraidon potentially also be looking at Volt switching its way out of here to cover its own back a little bit, but I'm not sure what else things will do. Freeze Dry is definitely the safest attack here. However, Kyogre is going to leave the battlefield deciding it doesn't want to take any of those things, not expending its Terror type on turn 1 like it did last time. Incineroar is going to come in there to absorb that Freeze Dry. Intimidate coming down. Not quite needed here, but Incineroar itself is more valuable as Incineroar. Light Screen coming up, going to keep these Pokemon nice and healthy. Freeze Dry coming in, going to put a little bit of chip damage in on Incineroar, but not doing too much with those resistant. Draco Meteor going to follow up. This might do a little bit more. It does a lot more. Is that a critical hit, or was that even through Light Screen? It lives it. That was through a Light Screen. Jesus Christ. Miraidon is not taking any prisoners in game 2.
I do think, if I recall correctly from this team, oh yeah, wait, I have the petition. Yeah, this Incineroar is quite fast. It is fastest Incineroar right now. It took a few leg days, so not that much on bulk in that regard. So still an impressive feat to do at the very least behind Light Screen. But now this does mean that another Pokemon can switch in with a -2 Miraidon onto the field. It is going to be that Water Urshifu, and Water Urshifu is wondering what are you doing, as the Surging Strikes will definitely hurt quite a bit in the rain. But both of these Pokemon, quite they seem to take these fairly well, as now you can opt to go for a close combat, of course, and even potential Thunder Wave from this Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, Thunder Wave from the Grimmsnarl is going to start causing some issues on the speed front. However, there is still potential for Serena to block it. However, that is not going to be the case. Thunder Wave is going to come out, is going to connect with Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is going to have its notoriously fast speed halved to just quite quick. Surging Strikes is going to come in, and going to, even in the rain, even with the resist and the reasonable physical defense of an Iron Bundle, put a respectable amount of damage into it.
Yep. 3 critical hits, the lucky 3, as now this Iron Bundle, as Miraidon is able to move, it is going to be Draco Meteor into that Urshifu, still hanging on for quite a bit. This Miraidon is still doing so much damage.
That's at -2 through screens. That is pumping out damage left, right, and center. However, Bundle is paralyzed and unable to continue the retort, meaning that this Urshifu gets to fight another day, where I think it might not have been able to if Bundle was able to move.
Yeah, right now this Urshifu does seem quite free to just go for yet another Surging Strikes into this Iron Bundle, making sure that it is get KO'd. And this Grimmsnarl could go for a potential Spirit Break, but right now this is the play here from Jack Clark here, trying to see this happen. It is the Surging Strikes into the Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle will go down, but if this Spirit Break will go into that King Gambit, this will be a very, very scary King Gambit as well.
Yeah, that's definitely taking a good read, and if any turn was to do it, this was the turn, and that is the turn indeed. Spirit Break's going to come in, do a nice little bit of chip. It's going to drop that special attack. However, King Gambit's Defiant is going to say no and boost its attack by 2 stages and prepare to put on some pain.
Yep, and now you have the potential to go for Sucker Punch. We know that the last Pokemon in the back is that Kyogre as well. So a Sucker Punch will definitely KO this Urshifu. The Iron Hat will deal with his Grimmsnarl, and this Farigiraf is making sure that no Thunder Waves will be used right now as well by this Grimmsnarl. So just being able to potentially even set up Trick Room, making sure that it is able to, this King Gambit can use its full potential right now.
Yeah, the only thing that the Urshifu could do to keep itself alive is switch, but even then it does not want to do that, keeping itself vulnerable. Sucker Punch coming out, hitting into Urshifu, dropping that HP to 0. Urshifu falls to its knees and returns to its Pokeball as the Trick Room comes out for Farigiraf, setting the speed tiers backwards.
Yep, and now with this very slow King Gambit being able to decide the pace, really. Kyogre is now still behind screens. We cannot underestimate how bulky Kyogre is, plus these screens as well. Is it able to still deal significant amount of damage? We have seen Origin Pulse do about 50 to 60% when earlier on to the King Gambit. Maybe with a double up, I want to say, but then again, that King Gambit will get another boost. But seeing the writing on the wall, Jarshul does decide to forfeit that game and just say, "Nah, that's fine. Game 3. It's game 3 time." So
Yeah, we see
adaptation-wise, that was good. I really like that.
That definitely worked out for Jack Clark. A couple of simple changes there. Even with the misfortune of that full paralysis, managed to turn that into an absolutely commanding lead and reading a couple of turns perfectly, taking that spirit break, being King Gambit, and just sit there and go, "What are you going to do? I'm going to hit you. You're going to fall over. I don't care." And it's just going to pump out so much damage. Jarshul accepts the defeat, and it, for sake of expediency, I think of both players, is ready to move us on.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think there's a lot of adaptation that could have been made in that from line of play. It was just well brought by Cosmos. He covered perfectly there in the left side. Like Incineroar just being gone immediately could prove not to be that useful in this kind of matchup right now. It is nice to have fake out pressure, but maybe the Iron Jugglers would have been a bit more helpful. As to say, could Hurricane at the very least the Iron Bundle in that regard, but then again, Grissom would have to attack as well, so it's kind of awkward in that regard. But I do think Incineroar might be staying home today.
Yeah, Incineroar showing that it might not be the dark type of choice for Jarshul in this matchup. Also, I think bringing Fake Out is definitely quite a brave decision to try and do when Cosmos has access to both Queenly Majesty and Armor Tail. Between Farigiraf and the Serena, there is very little chance of being able to get a window to get priority moves through.
Yeah, exactly. It's just as you said. So I do think, honestly, Cosmos found his 4 Pokemon to bring, and now has adapted as well with his lead well to the Iron Jugglers. Now it's up to Jarshul to see if he can adapt yet again. I'm a fan of Wu Chen. Just bring that. I think Wu Chen is kind of rad. All right, like it's a slug. It's green. It's cool.
Wu Chen is indeed a cool Pokemon that we don't get to see very often, and will we get to see it in these games as these players are ready to put out their wins.
Let's take a look. I do love the Chikorita next to the.
It's always my favorite thing about games on cart is seeing what players decide to do with their trainer cards as our players hit the field with their Pokemon. For Cosmos, we are going to see the Miraidon and the King Gambit, and for Jarshul, we are going to see the Incineroar and the Kyogre.
Yeah, this is wait, that Incineroar is moving before. Wait, does Drizzle activate always after Intimidate, or is that just Incineroar that much faster?
I think that's just a very fast Incineroar or a very slow Kyogre, or both.
Yeah. So this is like a rough position from the get-go, because now this King Gambit is at +1. It has the possibility to just keep Sucker Punching this Kyogre, while on the other hand, this Miraidon is able to damage any of these Pokemon with quite some things as well. And this Incineroar kind of standing here a bit awkward. It is able to Will-O-Wisp this King Gambit at the very least, being able to reduce the amount of damage it can do. But as long as this Miraidon is on the field as well, it will probably likely try to KO something here on this field at the very least.
I thought
decisions have to be made.
There was definitely unfortunate, catching the Defiant. However, Kyogre is going to leave the battlefield for Jarshall are going to be returned by your beloved Wo Chen. Tablets of Ruin coming in to lower the physical attack of King Gambit. Even is going to shulk its own boost to leave the field, bringing Serena, predicting a priority move. However, did Jack go for it? Jack did not go for it, and Jack is going for Draco Meteor into Wo Chen, and he's actually going to drop Wo Chen off the field. It is going to get to do some screen time, and then that is all it gets to do.
Honestly, I enjoyed it for the 15 frames that I had it. You know, as Will-O-Wisp is coming out into that Serena, making sure that that is at the very least burned, so being able to mitigate that kind of damage. Miraidon is now also at -2, so you know you gotta take the bad with the good. Okay, you lost Wo Chen, but that does mean you have a prime Pokemon being able to switch in right now, being able to dish out a lot of damage. Especially now that this Serena is burned, Power Whip is doing less damage, Triple Axle is doing less damage, U-Turn is doing less damage. So all in all, not all that bad of a turn as you are if you are able to bring it back right now, because you do want to be able to click a nice move like, for example, Ice Beam onto this Miraidon, hit it potentially for super effective damage, and just deal with it. But yeah, you have to kind of predict what Cosmos is willing to do here.
Yeah, there are certainly worse turns for that, but there are definitely a lot better ones. Losing one of your Pokemon in exchange for only slightly inconveniencing two of your opponents is not the strongest position to be finding yourself in. Kyogre coming back in, though, looking a little bit more comfortable staring down at the Serena now that it is burned, and the Miraidon is not locked into an electric type move. It does not feel pressured to go for that Terra Grass quite yet. Iron Bundle is going to come in, however, to replace that Miraidon, getting its boosts, its drops reset, Quark Drive activating, making it incredibly speedy once again. We are going to see a Terrestrialization coming out, though, from what I assume to be the Kyogre going for its Terra Grass. It is going for Terra Grass. We'll see if Cosmos has managed to predict that with a Triple Axle. But that will be something that comes once Kyogre has screamed, "Look at my flowers!" Knockoff is going to come in onto Iron Bundle, do respectable damage given it, and it's going to lose its focus sash there. Power Whip is going to come in, so it's going to resist that. Kyogre looking nice and healthy, and Water Spout's going to come in the rain. It's going to be boosted. It's only lost a little bit of damage. It's going to do huge damage to Serena, and it is going to finish off what is left of the Robo-Bird.
Yep, making sure that switching was punished there. Very well done there. The Serena, of course, not really able to do all that much right now, but now you can bring in your Miraidon again, fresh from the spa, just ready to hit those Draco Meteors yet again, which will still do quite a bit of damage. I don't believe it will KO the Kyogre, but honestly, the Miraidon is a Pokemon that you have to respect so much, and then Serena as well with the Triple Axle in combination might prove to be too much for this Kyogre right now.
Yeah, I think a double in will certainly be enough to make it drop, and I'm sure Jarshall knows that. It's how he's going to respond to the potential firepower that will be going into that slot, since this Kyogre cannot protect itself, and nothing really wants to switch into a double in that involves Miraidon.
Yeah, that is the fear of Miraidon, of course. So potentially you could switch in if you have Grimmsnarl, for example, in the back. That could be a really nice switch here right now on this potential Draco Meteor, and then this Incineroar is able to do something, but it's just gonna be Draco Meteor into that Kyogre, doing massive amount of damage, but it's still hanging on there. Knock off onto this Miraidon, making sure that damage is a bit less right now. Serena with the U-turn, is this gonna be enough? It is not enough. It is hanging on by a thread. Oh my god, this Kyogre still hang on, making sure, yeah, I'm not going down just yet. Wait a minute, I still got one in me. It is King.
Let's hope it's not Water Spout that it's trying. It is not. It is Origin Pulse. Neither of them miss. Origin Pulse connects, doing 50% to the King Gambit and a good chunk into Miraidon as well. Miraidon, though, to note, while it would have been, it's at -2, that is all well and good. It is no longer locked into Draco Meteor and is capable of swapping moves to something more efficient, thanks to that knockoff of making it boost its classes.
Yep, exactly. And King Gambit doesn't have his +1, but still having access to low kick can definitely prove too much for this Incineroar to take. Will-O-Wisp is nice to have, but the Terra Fire on King Gambit is a very real possibility just as well. So looking at the options in front of Jarshall, not really finding it, in my opinion. Maybe something in the back here that could really turn this game around. It is going to be the Terra activated onto this King Gambit here, going for that Terra Fire. I'm trying to think what's in the back. There's still an Urshifu in the back, I guess.
If I remember rightly, Urshifu got dropped a little earlier. We haven't seen what Joshua's fourth Pokemon is yet. Dazzling Gleam's going to come out from the Miraidon, finish off Kyogre finally, even though it's put in so much work. It's going to fall, it's going to do good damage to the Incineroar as well, but nowhere near as much as it has been doing with the things. Will-O-Wisp bounces off that new Terra Fire, and Loki's going to come in, doing good damage and dropping Speedy Incineroar back down to... Nope, I'm not thinking of Loki.
Yeah, that's low sweet. That's alright, that's low sweet. And it is Urshifu. Alright, so...
It is Urshifu, then I'm thinking of the previous game.
That's alright. Okay, so now Surging Strikes is still a possibility as Rain is still up. Miraidon is low, but is it low enough for you to KO even without the Rain? That's the thing that I'm kind of afraid of. Honestly, this Urshifu might be the one Pokemon to bring it home right now, as it has the potential to really dish out some damage. Serena does resist, but it's burned and it's low. And it is still in the rain here, the things that are going to happen. This Incineroar is also going to be able to still knock something off with that potential. So this is not over. This is still quite a tight turns to decide what to do here. Close combat is actually a very viable thing as well with the Urshifu, now that I realize, because you don't have to particularly click Surging Strikes. But we have Serena switching it. It is Sucker Punch from the King out into Incineroar, not KOing just yet. It is going to be Surging Strikes into that Serena. Is it going to be enough?
1, 2. I think the third one will be enough to do it. It does indeed. Serena catches those feet. If looking at it, looks like a kick.
Yeah, on Surging Strikes. You know, kick can be strikes. As a knockoff coming into that King Gambit, doing critical hit as well. Assault Vest is gone, and now it is the Scarf Urshifu still at full health with no rain. It is stuck in Surging Strikes. The question is, does Miraidon... Is it enough through that resist?
We don't know. However, the Electric Train's going to come back up there for Miraidon, so should it be able to live, it'll be able to press what looks like it's going to be pressing Dazzling Gleam there to clean up this battlefield on its own with the boost from its Hadron engine. So this is all going to come down to, is this Surging Strikes enough?
Yeah, there's no rain. It is resisted.
There is
Surging
one.
Strikes did 20, I believe. It is going to be... It's looking like it's going to be enough. Oh my god! Is it
good? That is enough!
That is enough. Wow.
Oh,
that was close. That was still close to it.
That looked like it was like 1 HP's worth of difference there, maybe a little bit of a damage roll, and that was incredibly close. However, the knockoff is going to come up and finish off this King Gambit, meaning that wraps up the game. The battle for Alpha Jack has been determined, and the victor is Joshua.
Yeah. Well played there. That was still tight. Keeping that Urshifu in the back, like that, seemed to really prove like Urshifu is just a crazy good Pokemon. Let's be real. And the Kyogre, especially surviving on that low HP still after the U-turn. So the burn on the Serena was really well placed as well. Honestly, this went quite well for Joshua. Not missing the Will-O-Wisp is also nice. So honestly, this game could have still gone either way. This was a really tight game. I really enjoyed it. So Alpha Jack maybe for now, but you know, can always come back. You know, like
temporary Alpha Jack.
Yeah, Jack Supreme. You know, like we'll have to go to see like how it goes, but like this can be issued a new challenge for it to get that title back, you know.
For sure. However, Joshua cinching up that victory leads to a convincing win for the Glimwood Garchomps, taking home, especially with Lithorium's win as well, a 5-0 win over the Battle Subway Surfers there, making themselves known that they mean business.
Yeah, so very well done there. Trying to, even though that set was really close out. Honestly, these games were quite amazing. I've seen a TCG player really showcase that they at least they know what they're going to do, because with the trying to reverse Trick Room play, that was smart. Unfortunately, Richard being just that step ahead. and then the Dynamax with the yawn off. Really, we had some really amazing games to think of. And then, of course, this final game was quite tremendous to see as well. Like, even though there's a Miraidon, which, honestly, if you look on paper, Miraidon versus Kyogre, the Kyogre shouldn't win. But Kyogre had its friends in the right place at the right time to showcase that it can still dish out the meaningful damage to try and win that game.
Yeah, absolutely. We managed to see plenty of excitement going on. As you said, Kyogre proving its worth, the various different exciting game modes on the Sword and Shield game, and lots of different things going on in all of these matches. It's been a wonderful day for games, and we've been here quite a while. It's been very enjoyable. So thank you for joining me, Sean, in another round of the UKITT season. This is week 3, and I'm sure that next week there will be plenty more exciting games ready to be perused by our audience.
Yeah, exactly. So that means quite easily, if you are wanting to follow more, just follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch here. Try to make sure that you're able to follow on every social media so that you can keep up to date with all the information around UKITT as well, so that you can also potentially enjoy more matches, more exciting games, and more casting by either of us or any of our other amazing casters just as well.
Yeah, we've got a wonderful team behind us ready to roll, producing these streams for you guys. However, I think that does bring us to the conclusion for the weekend. So it is goodbye from me. It is goodbye from Shmon.
Also,
I
goodbye
believe.
from me. Also, a goodbye from me. And that does mean that we will be signing off. Thank you very much for watching, and see you guys next week.
Ta-ra.